Hachi Machi Delco. This is a rare Monday episode for yous all.
Haven't done these in years.
I know you ain't watching nothing else because there's nothing on TV. There's one terrible MLB game, and you're pretty much stuck with us right now. Coming into the fourth, we have a very interesting episode tonight. So last week we covered one of the many stories we addressed was the firing the disassignment of the Collingdale police chief, and obviously we knew there would be some clarification because the articles that are out there really beat around the bush and don't tell you anything. They leave you more questions than answers. So we have a very special guest the whole episode tonight. This is Councilman Steve Zane. You were the councilman for Collingdale?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Oh, thanks for reaching out and not hating us like most people do.
I have to say, many times we've had back and forth in certain areas, and I don't care if it's the political world or not the political world. We give people opportunity to come on and talk, and most people do not take the chance in front of the camera or the mic. So I give you credit, my friend.
Yeah, and this isn't necessarily too much of like a side versus side political thing. If people jump in the comments and start doing that shit, my lord, they're nerds. They're like, oh yeah, well, what about Biden doing that? Trump's a criminal. Biden's a hologram. Like, shut up.
That is my
We're
favorite
literally
line,
talking
by the
about
way.
a police chief and who fucking assigns shit. And you were just saying you were a firefighter as well?
Yes, correct.
Collingdale?
Yes.
You're born and bred 19023.
Yes.
Fucking Mr. Bulldog.
Yes.
So if you're a firefighter for Collingdale, why have I never seen you in the 995,000 times I've been into Tony's bar?
Because I don't drink.
My lord. What about the roast pork sandwiches? Have you ever had one of those?
I have. It's
My
been a
God.
long time.
I don't say it lightly. There's upper tier food, but Tony's roast pork is the greatest. And I actually don't tell people about it because I don't want them to fucking
Yeah,
go
he
and get
says it on air in
me.
front of hundreds of people at the moment.
He want to save some for himself.
Like when it won Best of Philly, like people were mad. They're like, don't tell people about it. It's
Yeah,
like
well, people at Tony's were actually mad that people were going to hear about it.
you ever go to Phillips Cheesesteaks in 23rd and Passyunk?
Yes.
Because no run from Collingdale, people forget you can actually get there pretty quickly and back. Yep. You can do a little cut through of Lindbergh Boulevard and all that shit. When that was on like a top 10 list, I was like, get it out of there. I don't want people to know about that. I don't want people online.
I mean, especially with Tony's, they only make so much.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
limited.
it's like you want to be able to get it when you can.
And you're talking like John's roast pork is like, get there by 3 or they're done. Tony's is like, get the Mama DiPrinzio or whatever. That shit could be done by 11:30. Shit. So we got some nice little topics all spread out through pop culture. All of them are Delco related. And we will get to the incidents with the removal of the chief. But Al, what's our first story?
Real quick, I'll remind you guys that this show is brought to you by Dolan's Bar, 23 Sellers Avenue.
Also great fucking food.
Yes. CherryInjuryLaw.com. Not great food, but we'll get you out of trouble, trust me. As well
How much
as
you consider justice
food.
food.
Yeah. Delicious justice. And don't forget Fat Cow Jerky. Delicious food. We'll talk about that momentarily. But our first topic here is every Delco/Philadelphia fan just to rub it in.
Happy Bobby Bonilla Day, everyone. If you're unaware, Bobby Bonilla was a third baseman and outfielder that was pretty decent in the 90s. And in 1999, the Mets got him for a second time. And he was coming off a World Series championship with the Marlins. He, was hitting all these home runs. He's that second tier right behind your Griffeys, your Bonds, your fucking Tomies, all that shit. They gave him an insane contract, and he said, you know what, I got enough money, I'm gonna defer it. And they didn't start paying him till 2011, and it goes till 2023, and they pay him $1.19 million every July 1st.
It goes to 2035.
Did I not just say that?
You said 2033.
Oh, sorry, but yeah.
Bryce Harper goes to 2033. Let that settle for a second.
So Bobby Bonilla, he did this, and it's just great because it counts against the fucking Mets payroll. So every time they need to pay a pitcher, anytime they get close to the luxury tax, it's like, you're still paying Bobby Bonilla every July 1st. That's going to hurt. And all that money was fucking blood money because that was the Bernie Madoff pyramid scheme shit as well. Just like Citi Field was built with that money, and that's why they're cursed, and Grimace can suck a dick.
And they said, I think I sent you the post earlier. He's making $208,000 more this year than Brock Purdy and the Niners.
And you can say, like whatever, people defer contracts. Ohtani's going to have a big contract at the end that people are paying forever. Bobby Bonilla went to the Mets career like 280 hitter, could get you 25, 30 home runs. He went to the Mets, batted 160, hit 4 home runs, and was fired halfway through the season, and they still owe him that money. And fun fact, Al, because we celebrated because of the Mets. He actually did this with the Orioles, where he played before, and he is still getting paid for them as well.
Same
Different
time
contract.
same
different
time
contract.
frame.
It was 2 years earlier.
So, but it's the same amount of time.
500. Yeah, he gets $500,000 from the Orioles.
So he's making a 1.2 almost
Yes.
from them. So almost $2 million
Yes.
every year for nothing.
every year.
And the Orioles is.
And the Mets really thought they were geniuses for allowing this.
They were so.
They thought they came out with this brand new scheme that was just gonna like change the world and like make it so affordable to afford great players and just stack it.
They thought it was like an NFL contract where they can top load it at the end and be like, well, if you're whenever you're 30, we don't need you or whatever. They forgot that it was guaranteed money, and they probably also thought lock him in on a long deal, right? Because cost of living is going to go up, man. That's not that much money today, but for an athlete,
no, I mean,
still counts.
Yeah, because that's like what you hear Mets fans going,
Still
talking $1 million. I
know
that's
there's
nothing.
I know there's no cap in the MLB.
It's the luxury tax.
There's luxury tax you get to or whatever, and if it's over, you pay it. But just remember, there was a time where Johnny Gaudreau tried to come to the Flyers, and we didn't even have the $2 million he wanted to come here for in our payroll. So that shit adds up. So yes, I despise him. Are you a Phillies fan, Steve?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Okay. Yeah, die hard. I just love the number one thing I love is seeing the Phillies succeed. The number two thing is watching the Mets fail.
Yeah.
So this is a great day. Also, happy Canada Day to none of our followers.
Yeah. And a lot of Philly sports news, but another Mitch Koff came here today, so that's pretty cool too. Like he's officially signed by the Flyers, so hopefully a turn in the right direction for your Flyers.
We're not a sports show, but I was actually talking about that the other day, man. There's always in Philadelphia sports, there was always things we didn't do, and it always fucked us over. The Phillies never went after Asian players. They never went after Cubans. They should be doing that. The Eagles never went after the SEC. They should be fucking doing it. The Flyers never went after the fucking Russians. They're finally doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, the one they had wasn't out there.
Yeah, but also one of the ones we had won a Stanley Cup, and his backup was a former Flyer too.
That's true.
So guys, just so you know, if you're watching us, great. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram now as well. We're on there. YouTube and DelcoLive.com. So check that out.
Say Etsy.
No, I said I was about to say EOP.
On
But
Etsy.
Talking sports threw me off for a second.
Get some commemorative specialized mittens.
Yes.
Say Delco.
Let's
Swarthmore the roundabout.
Just a reminder real quick before we move on to the next topic that, again, this is brought to you by DolansBar.com. Dolan's Bar, 24 East Sellers Avenue. Tell Tan PJ, speaking of last week, Tan PJ was in-house with us.
Great guest.
Quiz on music, great times, memorabilia giveaways, amazing times there. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. He's always on the social media.
They
keeping
just
you guys
had
up to date.
Flannel Fest, and it was a huge success.
Giant success. If you missed out, that is your own fault. So go over to Dolan's Bar right now. Tell PJ that Delco Live sent you and have a smash burger because they are amazing.
Their wings are Tony's roast pork level, like food. Like if there was a Mount Rushmore of unknown, underappreciated Delco food, it would be Tony's roast pork. Tony's roast pork. The Dolan's wings. What else would be on that?
I got in trouble with the Dolan's wings because my wife, at one point, he would only have them during Eagles games.
Yeah. So
my wife was like, you have to get them. So I would drive over from Clifton to Ridley to get the wings. So the one time she was out and about, she actually is the one who picked them up. And I would always be like, the one thing about the wings, babe, is they take a little extra time. A little extra time, if you know what I mean, when I'm sitting at the bar. But that wasn't true. They were in and out pretty quickly until she went and picked them up. She goes, I got it in like 7 minutes. I'm like, well, they must have liked you more than they liked me. What can I tell you?
Yeah. I guess they had, maybe someone canceled right before me.
Yeah, you got lucky.
Maybe they leapfrogged you because you were so early.
What up, Justin?
Love it.
What's going on, buddy? And like I said, if you're on Instagram and you want to message in, it won't pop up on the screen, but I will read it as long as, within reason.
Yeah. What is the next story?
Next story.
Oh, it's my favorite game.
Everybody's favorite game.
Everyone's favorite game in Delco, especially this time of year. Gunshots or fireworks?
That's right, everybody. Gunshots or fireworks.
I live in a gated community in Garnet Valley, and it's the 4th of July and at nighttime, and I hear gunshots. Or are they fireworks? Well, gee, I don't know.
So, everybody, we're going to play a little Gunshot or Fireworks brought to you by
I
the.
live in Darby, and there's a lot of sirens going off, and it's February 21st. Are those gunshots or 4th of July fireworks? Come on, people. You can deduce what's going on
Yeah.
in your neighborhood.
If you have to ask, you shouldn't be around here. But this one's brought to you by the Drexel Hill Community Forum. Holbrook, you want to take this one or you want me to read it?
No, I mean, I'll take it in a second, but that is like literally one of the most asked questions in the community pages, like by far. We just did the fucking Delco Family Feud where I went out and asked 50 Delconians what is the most popularly asked questions, and it was who's got a good divorce lawyer, where's the best blank food, like insert your food, or is it gunshot or fireworks? That noise I just heard.
Yeah.
And or why are you shooting fireworks?
Yes, and to be fair,
It can be January 14th and people are shooting off fireworks. It can happen.
To be fair,
after
toward like middle pandemic and all that shit, Delco really did get hit with a wave of people shooting off fireworks for no fucking reason on random days throughout the year.
I live in Clifton Heights, and there could be fireworks August 12th at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
That I never understood.
Hey guys, got gonorrhea. Woo!
Well, they did change that law about the fireworks being more legal in PA.
Yeah, and they took it and ran with it.
Yes, and I think that's probably what it was.
Phantom.
We could do this, and
So it's all an inside job by Phantom Fireworks to like boost up their sales.
Yeah. Justin said Philly bars are the bomb. This is absolutely correct. There's a lot of great ones in the area.
Oh, in Philly, yeah, totally.
Well, I guess he's kind of saying this area too. But
I was at the
Justin, where are you from around here? That's what I want to know. That's a good question.
Fire
the Drexel Hill Community Forum,
which is the most sane place ever, except
this moment in time.
Yeah. Drexel Hill. I mean, we're not talking they're on Clifton or Ridley level or my God, Lansdowne.
Which we will have one from.
Drexel Hill's normally pretty sane unless there is a lockdown at Upper Darby High School, and that is a prime place to find the most ridiculous fucking accusations.
Well, my brother knows a cop in Colorado, and they told me that the Upper Darby.
My dead aunt told me that her fucking ex-fiance's former flame from the 1930s definitely saw 9,000 dead bodies out front, and there was a nuclear bomb, and they were going to detonate a second one. That's what happened. And it'd be like, oh, actually, it was a squirt gun.
Yeah. Somebody pulled the fire alarm. Like,
yeah.
I have kids who went there, so I've been through the lockdown thing quite a handful of times.
Fucking sometimes multiple times a day.
Yes.
Drexel Hill Community Forum was please stop your. So remember, it is a certain time of year. Please stop your fireworks. It's nowhere near the 4th, and you are making pets panic. Please be considerate. This was this morning on July 1st.
Yeah.
So of course the people were responding with like, we're nowhere near the 4th. It's 3 days away. I'd say near whatever. This is the time you know there's going to be fireworks things on the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th. Isn't Clifton's on the 6th this year or the 7th?
The 6th.
The 6th.
They couldn't. The problem with that one was because of they actually started today building getting the ground ready for the middle school. They couldn't book it until they knew, and it was a little too late, so they had to pick the 6th this year instead of the 4th.
That's fine because
and the parade is still on the 4th, and it's backwards.
Yes.
So they're starting from St. Stephen's and heading towards Cap instead of the other way around.
Yeah, they're going downhill. It's fucking brilliant because sometimes general inclines are bullshit. Like it's kind of annoying to go uphill. Why exert energy? The 6 will work out better for them because it's still a very community based one, and they're not going to have any competition. You're not going to go to somewhere else in the 4th. You're not going to lose people to Lansdowne. You're not going to whatever. They can go alone. Is the Spite fireworks happening this year, Al?
Well, so this will be the first year that they're not competing.
Oh, so there is going to be the ones
on the 4th of July. Okay. Yeah, a certain person we know,
yes,
who lives for competing with the Clifton Heights town, which I still don't understand.
He has a higher spite level than me, which is insane.
I mean, give the guy credit. He needs T-shirts for himself.
And I heard that they were decent.
No, he does a good job.
Yeah.
My point is, why not work together? Like instead of. Like, why would you? Here's my thing: is why would you want to compete? Like, if you're going to put on this amazing fireworks show, why don't you do it? Like, if the 4th of July is on a Thursday and then there wasn't an issue, and then why don't you do yours on Saturday so everybody can enjoy it? Why should I only have to watch one if you're going to do it? I feel like if I'm not going to watch it because I'm competing with the fireworks right behind my house, it's ridiculous.
Especially compared to what they're putting together.
And
Right, but
also,
it's going to be way bigger than what they have.
Oh no! So that's actually the problem. Is I do not know the full dynamics of the drama between the Clifton Fireworks and this individual who does his own Rogue One. Um, very much like the Collingdale police chief. I don't actually know any details about it. But Al, we did DJ and host the Clifton Fireworks, the official ones, multiple times, like maybe 5 times. I don't know.
I think it was about 4 or 5 years
And
now in the
he
running.
ran the Spite ones a couple times. And is there a reason that they're not working together?
I just think he's a goof for not doing it. Like, I don't know. Maybe
Would
they
Clifton hire him?
maybe they can't because he's not an official fireworks licensee. I don't know how that works. Like, if there's like a,
Just a guy with 7 fingers and some spite.
yeah, like the man's got a lot of spite. But here's a question, because before we get into it, so Justin's saying ban all fireworks. What are your guys? Like, anybody in the comments, please throw them up, and I'll try to answer them as we go along. But seriously, like, is it outlandish to have fireworks at 7 o'clock on March 14th?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. It's close to St. Patrick's Day. Sometimes you want to blow something off.
So is as long as it's close to some sort of holiday, is it reasonable?
Well, especially a holiday that deserves fireworks too.
Okay.
There's some holidays that you shouldn't do fireworks.
Would Christmas deserve fireworks? Because I've had that.
A cool one would.
I had a guy who would really set off fireworks right around the corner from me during snow. Like, not like during the storm itself, but like when it's all white out from all the snow hitting, and it's kind of the weather's calmed down and it's not like super windy, he would set off. It actually looked pretty cool at night with the white ground, and they kind of, like, I guess, it bounced off there a little bit, so I did give him credit on that. But like are the fireworks just outlandish at this point?
They can be. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like you said, especially with the pets and things like that on the off holidays.
Yeah.
That's like you
Should
said.
people be mindful of the pets? Like the lady was saying, it makes your pets, like, Holbrook, you have a dog, right? You have a
Yeah.
pet, Steve?
And
I have 2 pets, yes.
Okay.
the old dog, we
I got
did
kids,
absolutely
fair
have
enough.
to fucking medicate on 4th of July.
Yeah, I know a couple.
Little Cookie, we had to sneak her some Zoloft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just to give you an example, we have somebody in my neighborhood that does it, and he does it every day of the week. Doesn't matter what day it is. He'll light off fireworks. And
How much do fireworks cost at this day and age? Like, with the way that things cost, like, so much. Like, you can't go to Wawa and get a coffee and a donut for $20, and this guy's got like $400 worth of fireworks he sets off every week. Like, what's going on, man?
Hey, some people got expendable money that way.
Yeah,
I
it must
guess.
be
But
nice.
like I
I'll
said,
tell
it
you.
just freaks my friend's dog out. He tears the couches up. And
Yeah,
the whole thing.
oh,
I'm
wow,
just in
the
the middle
damage,
of, in the middle of every day. It just that can be, I think, a little horrendous. But other than that, I mean, come on.
I have heard of especially just with thunderstorms and fireworks, dogs having boom rooms where you make a space for them to feel safe and all that shit. I don't know. I think my dog's a communist and just hates America at this point.
I just turned the TV out.
Right.
I just turned the TV out.
Right. Does your dog like freak out at like any noise outside, like a car reversing or
No.
like honking or a doorbell on TV?
Just the thunder. So
Sometimes
it's the thunder and stuff.
sometimes I think of the fireworks as revenge.
Tommy Doc's chiming in here. My daughter graduated from Upper Darby High School in 2022. Clifton fireworks you have to watch from home also. Yeah, it depends from the home, though. Again, like, if you're at Clifton Field, you can kind of see the fireworks from, it was at Scullion Field. I grew up on Wincliffe there, so I was always kind of part and parcel to the fireworks behind me. But like, so I can't see that. So I would like to go if they were 2 different days. And, my kids love fireworks. I used to hit up the Ridley one off the lake. They were cool. They always did a really good job, and a couple other ones too. But the problem is a lot of times people set them off at the same time, so you can only hit those other ones.
When we did the Clifton fireworks all these years, I'm not hating on it or whatever. Like, it was fine. Some years were kind of beat. Some years were better than others. But I'll tell you what, usually one of my favorite things was when Clifton's would wrap up, and then you just look in the sky and be like, this whole town is fucking shooting things off around us. And especially where we were on like the higher up, we're like, we can see for miles around. This is great, dude.
Well, it is called Clifton Heights, so you're high and above. You can see everything. That's why you can see the skyline of Philadelphia from certain parts very
No, you
easily.
can't because it's blocked out by the sofa
Well, I said
fucking
certain
billboard.
area. I mean, I used to be able to look. I grew up Clifton Field. I could look out on a clear night. I could see right to Center City from my window growing up. In a row home. Kane 4735 Flag Day ? June 14th seems appropriate.
I mean, it's a Delco started holiday by whatever his name was, Kerr.
Yeah,
Not Steve Kerr, the other Kerr. He started it, and Yaden.
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 I like how you can't say Yade. It's like you have. It's like
Yeet.
Mickey Morandini. You can't say it normally. You have to say Mickey Morandini Yaden. You got Yaden.
Yaden started that fucking Flagophile Day and made it great, dude. June 14th. It's the second best June holiday that was ever created in Delco after Delco Day itself.
And also, anybody watching on Twitter, I have to mention. I see some people trying to comment in. You have to click on the video and comment below. Don't comment in just the tweet itself. I won't see it. So,
Do I? I mean,
I have to remind people.
I mean, I do feel bad for the animals and shit that get freaked out by the random fireworks. This is a week where you kind of need to be on standby. And the only thing I'll say is, if you're gonna shoot off fireworks at your house, fucking make a spectacle about it. There's nothing more annoying than just like, was that a firework, and why was there only 2? Like,
well, that's all I can
who are
afford.
you
If you're
I
gonna
told
do
you.
it,
Yeah.
yeah. Don't.
I was driving through Upper Darby today, actually, and someone shot one off at like 6:15 in the afternoon. I'm like, it's sunny outside. No one can even say it.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I understand the Clifton ones are supposed to be higher this year.
Oh yeah.
They're going to be a little bit higher since you're not going to be able to be up on the field.
Oh, they're going to shoot them off high. How are they going to do that?
Well, just a little bit higher. As far as they're going to go up higher compared to what they.
Oh, I didn't know they
used to.
could actually like, control that. I just thought it went.
The amount of I think rain.
You learn something new every day.
Oh, they're trying to be the big dicks going high up.
Yeah, they're going to be like, Pop can't see us.
yeah, right.
Oh, that's funny.
If we were doing it, I'd be so pissed because you can barely see out of the hut up there already.
Real quick, guys, remind you that this next segment is brought to you by CharityInjuryLaw.com. If your neighbor blows your fingers off in a freak firework accident, call David R. Cherry at 610-565-0300. Go to CharityInjuryLaw.com.
Doing fireworks without a license.
Yeah. Workers' comp, motor vehicle accidents, personal injury, criminal law. David R. Cherry is the man with the plan. Check it out, 610-565-0300. Call Dave directly or go to CharityInjuryLaw.com for the Cherry firm. Again, workers' comp, motor vehicle, personal injury. Why am I jumping all over that one? Criminal law, CharityInjuryLaw.com or call Dave directly at 610-565-0300.
And if you have any fireworks that are mortars, you can just use his fucking biceps to shoot them because they're fucking cannons.
Yeah.
David R. Cherry, best biceps in Delco. They're not glamour muscles. They're fucking real. All right.
Kane saying used to be a county holiday. It was started in the county, right?
What was?
Flag Day.
Flag Day started in 1888 or some shit by the dude.
But it was started here in
Steven.
Delco. It's not just a county holiday. But it was started here first.
Oh, we started it. Now it's worldwide.
Yeah.
That dude got his
Nationwide.
holiday picked up. We need to study what he did to make Delco Day worldwide.
Yeah, maybe they didn't change the rules on him.
Yeah, right.
That's a whole different day.
Maybe they acknowledge him. He's in their Wikipedia. We can't even get on like the fucking banners of our own event. So the entire reason that Steve Zane, by the way, in local politics, we have a tremendous amount of individuals that's last name begins with Z.
I noticed that.
We had a Zabel, we have a Zane, we had a Zampatelli or some shit, right? A lot of Z's.
Zampatella.
Yeah, Zampatella. Yeah. Okay. A lot of those. So he's here. He's the councilman.
He's a strong letter. I'm saying.
He's it's the last line of defense of the alphabet.
Mm-hmm.
He's the councilman for that area. He's a firefighter in that area. He's born and bred. He's had the Tony's roast pork. He's a career bulldog. So last week we covered a story that was trending area wide. It was about Collingdale voting out their police chief. I'm just going to read exactly how it was presented on 6ABC, and also the patch.com article was very vague as well. This is exactly what it says. Collingdale, Pennsylvania. The police chief of Collingdale in Delaware County, Pennsylvania, is back at work despite a 5-2 vote in favor of his demotion from council members. You are a council member?
Yes.
Oh, my Lord. What were you on the 5 or the 2 side?
I'm on the 2 side.
All right. The police union says the controversial vote against Patrick Kilroy, that is the police chief. Patrick Kilroy Tuesday night has no merit. They're saying no contest, kangaroo court. Some of the same council members who voted him in as chief last December also voted in favor of his demotion now.
So
we're talking
December.
We're
6 months.
December 2023. Okay.
Yeah, 6 months.
Mayor Donna Mateo Spadea, along with 2 council members, say they support Kilroy, but per protocol, the mayor does not get to vote. Like the 3 branches of
So
government.
you were one of those 2, correct?
I was, yes.
Yes.
During a meeting earlier this week, those who voted against the chief spoke about an officer shortage and excessive overtime. However, supporters of Kilroy claim his requests for hiring more officers have been ignored. This is a quote from Councilmember Felicia Coffey. It is, he's been making that request since January numerous times. He's asked, can civil services be enacted to no avail? He's asked if you can hire part-time officers. Some speculated Tuesday night that the decision against Kilroy was personal. The president don't like him, said longtime resident Dwight Green, who showed up to support Kilroy. And then it goes on to say, I think a lot of the things going on in Collingdale with council are racially motivated, said Mayor Matteo Spadea. So last week we broke it down ourselves by saying, number one, it's weird that he only had 6 months to do this. They make it seem like if I had to just take a peek from an outsider, just someone reading that shit, which is actually the extent I know of it, it would look like someone got brought into a situation, possibly was made like kind of a scapegoat for a thing that had been going on for a while. And I assume it's probably budget related, and they're worried about the X amount of cops they have there now staying on for overtime rates when there is a genuine officer shortage and they can't bring in part-times or get moved up on the list of civil service tests to get more cops in there. And they only gave him 6 months to correct that, and I assume the budget's due up or something. That's how I would take it.
Well, that's why, again, I reached out because
Good.
that
How wrong am I on a scale of 1 to 10?
not completely, but again, it's not
Like a 3.
correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have a 3 of my logic. Okay.
So the way things work with police and
Yes.
in most towns is they have to be hired through civil service.
Yes, you have to take a civil service test.
Civil
and then get
service
put on a list.
test, and basically we create a list, and you have these list of guys that again you choose from, and you hire based off that list. We at the beginning of January, we were already short a few officers at that time.
I believe it said 10 is the number right now.
That's where we're at
Okay.
now. We're 10 short now, but we were already, again, we had lost 3 or 4 officers by then from retirement, people moving up, moving to different places, testing out.
So before we even get into that,
Mhm.
how do they decide how many officers are assigned to an area?
So I can't really give you that exact answer. All I can
Is there
say
an
is that the
algorithm?
budget,
Okay.
it was slated for up to 20 officers for the year. So our budget is slated for up to 20 officers because you guys had talked about how many guys on each shift and things like that. We
Yeah.
usually run, I really don't want to say how many guys we run per shift. I don't know if that's something I want to put out there, but we run X amount of guys.
Just in case someone wants to Grand Theft Auto and they're like, if all 6 of them are here,
We have X
we
amount
can
of guys.
go get that roast pork.
So you have X amount of guys, and it takes that rotation because they do work on 12-hour shifts. So basically, it's the amount of guys. So that guys are only working their 40 hours. So there is no overtime.
Okay.
Otherwise, by contract, they either get overtime, comp time, different things like that. But with your shortage of officers, most of it is overtime.
Mhm.
And overtime or officer hiring is through civil service and the council. Chief doesn't hire. So chief does not have he does not hire. That he does the civil service, and the civil service list is what creates the hiring process.
Okay.
So if council does not get the civil service ready, council does not push to hire, then we cannot hire. So basically, he's been requesting that since January, I say we because I am part of council.
Yeah.
But we did not put the civil service together. We're finally going to get the civil service all 3 on tomorrow. We have a vote to put in a 3rd member for civil service tomorrow to finally start getting a list together. So the biggest thing is if you heard, is that they're questioning his overtime. Well, right now he's under budget for overtime.
Okay.
But yet he's not responsible for hiring. He asked.
Okay, that was an important thing that we kind of brought up.
Correct, and that's what really wanted me to clarify this is that the chief does not hire. His fix is to tell council hire. Once we hire,
Can he fire?
He cannot. It's all based on the mayor is involved in that, so the mayor have rights over the police
So
department.
if somebody did something wrong, if a police officer did something egregious enough to be fired, you have to bring it to the mayor.
Well, yeah. So you have cause,
Mhm.
because they are in a union, so
Yes.
they are backed by the union. So
Yes.
there is things that they have to go through. I really don't know the specifics of that. So all I know is for cause, yes,
Mhm.
it's those other things that the union would talk to them about.
So simply he's asked for more, and it was unfortunately never granted.
Correct. And then now they state that because of that, we're going to take you out of your position.
So, wait. So now I'm picking on what you're putting down. He asked for more. Council said we want more. and then more didn't show up, and 5 of them were just like, "Ooh, we're not gonna."
Well, no, a little different.
Oh, okay,
Almost. You're close.
okay.
He asked for more.
Yes,
Council never got civil service together to do that
gotcha.
for whatever reason. Again,
Okay.
I'm not going to speculate for whatever that reason is. However, they did not give him the tools to do his job.
Gotcha.
There's other things during this, during the last 6 months where we have problems getting tires to create the car safe.
Salerno Tires down there off of Hook Road. Spectacular tire work.
So let me ask you a question: Is it odd to demote a chief this quickly, especially for this situation?
Yes, because also we breached his contract.
Okay.
So basically, his
I know there's
contract
contracts with this, but keep going.
Yeah, so his contract states that the resolution states for Collingdale is that if you're hired to the police chief, you are on probation for 1 year and can only be released for cause.
Okay.
However, at the end of the 1 year probationary period, if council does not feel that your performance was satisfactory, then they can write you a letter say you're not going to be held on. Well, we're 4 months shy of that anniversary date.
Okay.
So that's why you saw with FOP stated that there's no merit because they breached the contract. So by voting him to move that, they breached the actual contract because they technically shouldn't have been able to.
And demotion is part of the breach, not just releasing, right?
Correct. Well, basically, the way that resolution works as well is it was written that if anybody that is chief, if they were hired from within, will go back to their regular rank. So he didn't technically lose his job, but he was fired from the police chief.
Was he a detective or sergeant?
Sergeant. So, and he's been with the department for 20 plus years.
Oh, wow.
Very highly respected. He's a highly respected gentleman in the town. All his officers are still working for him. They're working overtime because he is there.
Well,
we've learned that in the article. Is he the direct replacement for Bob Adams?
No. So you had Chief Finley.
Finley.
I'm Chief Felker. Excuse me, Chief Felker.
Did it go Adams, Felper, and then him?
Yes.
So he's actually because Bob Adams, from my understanding and memory, was there forever.
Yes.
So that's probably why it's like crazy, where it's just like there are the clauses about the 1 year and all that.
Well, that's
stuff.
actually new. So that's actually something that was put in at the end of last year.
So he was the first one to put up with that.
So Adams was
interesting.
FDR, and then after him, they were just like, oh, only 2 terms or like only these like limits and 1 year probation and all that. How long did was it Felker?
Felker. F-E-L-K-E-R.
How long was Felker there?
He 5+ years. I couldn't tell you to be exact, but at least 5+ years.
And then he retired.
He retired, and Chief Felker, recommended Chief Gilroy to take over, and so did his officers.
Let me ask this question: the complaint from the people who wanted to demote him, was it too much overtime? Like, was that the end all be all complaint?
Why was this called? Basically, that's kind of what I was trying to like look into all these things for. Why is this a thing?
Well, it's speculation that certain members didn't want him as chief to begin with.
Okay.
As you saw in the article, 2 of the current members, 3 out of 4 of us that are currently still on council, voted for chief. We have the 2 outgoing members that left last year. They voted for chief as well. They all voted for him back in October of last year. And now 2 of them decided that they voted against him now. One of the things that they said is that he wouldn't meet to talk about the overtime.
Okay.
Well, he did basically request that he meet with all of council to do that, and the members denied that, and they said no, it's either with us or we're not going to have a whole council meeting about it for whatever reason. Again, I can't answer that because unfortunately I'm not privy to a lot of stuff that goes on even as a councilman. So there's a whole lot more to this, to be honest.
Not a lot of transparency.
Speaking of Felicia Coffey, she is chiming in on the comments. They have to hire cops to stop overtime. So
definitely.
That was kind of my point last episode. Like, well, if they had more cops, there'd be less overtime.
Correct.
Do they want in a time where there's no cops or not enough cops on the streets to handle the job in Collingdale?
I don't know, other than maybe it was a way to possibly try to get him out.
Here's my thing is, as a council, because I don't know how this works. As a councilman, Like, what? How does your terms work?
So we're 4 years.
4
so
years.
we're 4
When
years
did you get
cycle.
elected?
2022. So I'm up end of next year.
Oh,
So I have a
halfway
year and a
through.
half
So-
left.
For the people who voted him out, real quickly, could somebody go and go, you know what? I don't feel like Councilman Smith over here is doing a good enough job. I think it's time for them to come out before their 4-year term, or do they need cause for their situation?
Yeah, so there's a lot of to remove a council person from position. You either need governor to be involved.
Uh-huh.
There's like
The governor?
the governor,
Like Shapiro.
yes, to be involved there, and then there's 2 other levels to remove people. But again, it's politics. So basically,
Literally.
The governor
it's-
controls like Delaware County councilmen.
Well, you have to reach out to them to remove because we are elected officials. So in the end, we're still elected by the people. So
Oh my lord.
and obviously, if you do cause, if there's
Yeah.
a cause issue or you're
Like certain issues you're done.
convicted of something,
Yeah.
then those are obviously you're out. At that point, the really the only thing you really can do is when the cycle comes through is to put your Facebook keyboard warrior to work
Yeah.
and bring it out and really put your money where your mouth is when you're upset with.
Well, let's take
Jesus.
for instance,
So hold
Felicia.
on. Felicia Coffee is saying they keep everything from us. Am I assuming? Am I just deducing here that you two are the 2 in this 5-2 vote?
Yes, sir.
Oh
Okay.
wow. Okay. Transparency. You
Yeah.
finally got
And
it.
I'm going to tell you, we're on two different parties.
Yeah, that's cool.
Um,
That's cool.
And I'll clarify that what you just said. It's
Yeah.
not basically. Let's just say this: documents that come out for our agendas, most of us don't receive until 5 minutes before the meetings start.
I've been there, done that. I totally
So
get
wait a
that.
minute. So now on top of it, you don't get everything, but when you do get something, you get like literally 5 minutes to
Correct. To
make
vote
a-
on it. So
this-
I have
a
to vote on
decision.
something within 5 minutes of actually reviewing it, and the public doesn't even get to review it
You know,
either,
the-
which they should.
The
That
person
sounds like
creating my,
communism.
the person creating my delicious Tony's pork sandwich has more time to make decisions than you guys do. I'm just putting
Yes,
this out there.
You're not wrong, and that's
Mhm.
why if you go back to a lot of the meetings, I vote no and I use a statement that I do not have enough time to properly vote
Fair.
on this.
And let me ask you a question: when they give you something like, is it a piece of paper with a paragraph saying this is what we're voting on, or does it they literally have the information about what you're voting on?
It's the resolutions.
Okay.
So resolutions is what a lot of the main things are. Basically, they're supposed to be discussed. Things are supposed to be discussed in public before we make votes on them. Taxpayers should be allowed to speak on what we're spending taxpayers on, tax money on.
When you
That's
say- hold
pretty
on.
much like what Thomas Jefferson fucking wanted. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question. You say they should be. Is there an inclination that they're kind of just pushing it so fast that people can't get a chance to respond? Is that what you're?
No. So basically, again, what's happening here is you have public comment at the
Mhm.
beginning of our meetings.
Sure.
And basically, what happens is the resolutions that are on the agenda, most of the resolutions just say resolution
Mm-hmm.
and talk about what the resolution is, but it doesn't talk about what that resolution is. It
Okay.
just gives a topic. So and again, I'm a taxpayer myself in my community. So
Jealous. One day I hope to be one of those again.
So for me, how can I speak on something if I only have a topic? It says social media policy, for example.
Mhm.
All right, I kind of have an idea what that's going to talk about, but I
Sure.
don't know what that means. I don't know if it's going to cost taxpayers money to do anything with that. And so basically what happens is they get read and then they get voted on. And without the public now can only talk about it after the meeting.
So,
Oh.
and let me ask you this question. So that means I'm just making sure I'm hearing this
Mhm.
correctly. When you got 5 minutes to find out that they were actually thinking about demoting Chief Kilroy,
Mhm.
correct? Like you had
Well,
no clue this was coming until
That-
then?
that's a big
So the
one.
the agenda came
Yeah.
out and then I knew.
Okay.
And so I knew when the public knew. I'll be honest with you, because I only received the agenda and what was going on when the
Oh,
public
shit.
actually sees it.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
Felicia's
we
saying,
knew-
yeah, you got 10 minutes to review 40 resolutions.
There's a Simpsons episode about this kind of shit.
Well, there's a lot of episodes about all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
If you go out there, but again, it's a lot about policy procedure. Politics, you can't argue the vote.
Mhm.
Okay, the vote is the vote, no matter what. That's
Sure.
the purpose of
Have
what
you
we
tried burning down a Capitol?
Oh, okay. All right, just making sure.
Didn't work, but it was a start.
do. I'll leave
That's
that
a
one alone.
joke.
kidding.
It's all a joke. Everybody relax for the comments come flying in.
Yeah, I'll leave that one alone.
Yeah. We again, we are not a political show, and we
I have no
should
idea what you're
never be
talking about.
taken seriously.
I'm talking about when the fucking blue M&M beat the pink M&M, dude. Fuck that. I know that shit was rigged.
But again, going back to the original letter that you guys wrote about the chief, and kind of go back to that because to me, you know, again, 6 months and the breach contract.
I've had job case that
Um,
lasted longer than 6 months.
yeah. Well, again, he's been here 20 plus years and he was wanted to be chief. Finally gets to be chief. He's doing great. He's helping out with our accreditation for the police, which is a big thing these days. Accreditation allows, you know, police officers to have more knowledge and to be, you know, better in the public. It
Mhm.
also helps out the actors, you know, so we know that the police are doing the right thing,
Yeah.
you know, and he's doing a lot of work with that. And again, the officers support him. You know, if you watch a lot of the videos, they are there because of him. And, you know, and a lot of council members, I'll be honest with you, didn't reach out to even one of those. You know, when back before we hired chief, one of the things was I had asked Mr. Hastings that, hey, you know, did you ask the officers if they want him to be chief? Have you talked to them? You
Mhm.
know, and his
Does
statement.
that go into consideration when you guys vote in a chief, or when?
Well, it should. It should because
But I'm
this
saying,
is
like, does it though? Does the do like is there like an election with inside the people inside the police?
well right now the chief can only be you can only be chief of police in Collingdale if you're with the department for 8 plus years.
Okay.
Okay, so
And
that's
how many qualified for that?
there's only a few that qualify
Okay.
for that right now.
How many can we say how many like police officers are currently in Collingdale right now?
We have
Said
10,
10.
less than
10.
10,
Less
less
than
than
10.
10
10 out of
officers.
20 that they're allotted
Yeah.
for.
And how
I
many
mean,
people are in Collingdale? Like how many constituents are actually in Collingdale?
about
roughly?
9,000,
Okay.
roughly 8 to 9,000. We're less than
So one to
1.9 square miles is
yeah,
what we
about
are.
1 to every 900 people.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Lord.
Okay.
Um,
I love those odds.
do you know off the top of your head, or that can provide that information, if how many of the 10 currently there are part time?
We have no part time.
No
we
part-time.
just lost our only part timer. He would have possibly tested. Again, I'm not going to speak for him, but you know,
Yeah.
I think he would have tested for us if we would have had the civil service, but we didn't. So he tested somewhere else and was hired somewhere else.
I was
Gotcha.
going to say, like, that's got to be a problem too. If you're not testing quick enough, and the part timers you do have,
Yes,
you're going to lose because they want full time work.
correct. And with police
I mean,
too,
we learned a little about this with the
Yeah.
Vesta Cop situation. Like
Yeah.
when one of our first two Delco days were for Vesta Cop, and things that again we could kind of took for granted, like thought they were they didn't, and found out the need for it. So, like you said, like, and I get it. Like, I get that there's a bunch of different sides to the coin in this situation. Like,
Yeah.
there's the financial side, which you have to be worried about,
Yeah.
but there's the safety side.
Correct.
And you know, my question is like, instead of just voting a guy out, what was the solution? Like, that's my question. Like, I'm not from Collingdale, I'm from Clifton Heights, but if I was a Collingdale resident, I'd be like, all right, well, you're upset about the overtime, but are you saying that the overtime was excessive? That was my question. Was the overtime being abused? Was it being excessive? And is that what they were trying to portray?
That's what it seems. Again, because
So, like, that was the crux of how this vote was even called.
that and
Okay.
basically saying that he wouldn't show up at a meeting to talk about the overtime based on again, we stated that there was only one reason for overtime is because we wouldn't hire. Again, but
Maybe he
he
was
did
busy
ask for
working
that.
overtime because to go to the meeting.
Right. That too. Yeah.
So,
Well, the other
that's
thing
what I
too
mean.
is, like I said, is that he asked. He said, "Look, if I'd like to meet, I'd like to sit down, but let's have all council there." Again, as you see, you know, some council members aren't on his side to begin with.
Yeah.
So you know, a meeting at some point.
So
you
he
know,
felt like it was a little bit against him at that point.
Hey,
Yeah.
if that
Which-
if I'm
which
not
it
going to
smells
speak
like.
for him, but
Which it
to
smells
me,
like.
I would feel that way, and the mayor felt that way as well. You know, the mayor is in charge
Good.
of the police department.
Good friend of the show, Shannon Murphy, who we worked with many years ago under a different name, but yes, we've known Shannon at one of our original event places. You guys can come to the meeting tomorrow and go live. You can't make up what goes on the meeting. And Shannon, it sounds like a great idea, but at the same time, I guarantee things act a little different when you have some sort of you're saying no.
Watch last week's meeting.
Really?
Yes. The news was there for
Okay.
him,
All
for
right.
the chief.
All
So things still go that way. But I just want to finish my statement. What I said a minute ago
Yeah.
about when we talked about. I asked Mr. Hastings about, did you speak to the officers? And what his statement was, again in the meeting, is that I was elected to hire people to make those decisions, not them. And I remind again any elected official, we're not here to make our agenda.
Mhm.
We're here to listen to the people and what the people tell us. And then we try to make an equal answer to that, to what the people tell us.
Gotcha.
And take what the people want, because that's what we're here for. We're not here for ourselves. I'm here to serve the people.
But you also have to make tough decisions. I mean, you can't give everybody what they want.
That's
You're
correct.
not a genie,
Correct.
but you have to make decisions. Like, again, if this article read to me like, listen, Collingdale's having a budget crisis, and one of the biggest, like,
We're not.
no, but here's my thing is, like,
But we're not.
as a guy who runs a multi-million-dollar company, I know, like, certain times the first thing you do is when there's budget issues, you look at your biggest piece. And I thought maybe, and this is just what I'm thinking, like, maybe they're looking at that, like, that, if we can cut this back, it would help. So you're telling me there's no budget issue?
Not with that.
Okay.
Okay, we're only 3 months into the amended budget. The current council majority actually squashed the budget last year and changed things and moved money around, different things. Like I said, you can watch the videos. I don't like to put things in people's mind.
Sure.
I want people to make that decision for themselves. Come up with that answer.
Oh no, they're all puppets. Tell them what to think.
No, but and that's kind of why you're here today. If you think about it, that's exactly why you're here right now, because we took an article, we read it, we didn't have all the information, but we only
we had none because they didn't provide any.
I know. I'm not saying it's our fault. I'm just saying
right.
We deduced and made some assumptions of what could be or couldn't be. Nothing we said we felt was fact. But, like, again, that's why I'm really glad that you were able to come up, because this is actually an interesting conversation. I never kind of taught me some things that I didn't know how the inner workings work. But
I got a question.
Mhm.
Okay, so this is one of the main arguments they have is that they weren't getting the civil service to get new cops in there, and the chief doesn't do the hiring anyway or the recruitment or whatever. So one question I do have is just because I grew up with a lot of people who became cops in the first couple years and all that stuff, and besides a few rare cases, I might be speaking out of pocket. It almost was like when you come out of law school, you got to do a couple years of pro bono. A lot of them didn't get hired to a force full time. They went and did part time at 2 different places, and it sounds like that might have been something that was going on in Collindale, where you said you just lost the only part time you had, but they would have ended up there. What would the steps have been for that person to remain in Collindale, and would council or the chief have been controlling that?
So it still would have been council, because
Okay.
at the beginning of the year, the majority council waited almost 6 months to appoint civil service. So
Okay.
again, we waited 6 months to hire, and again, it's something that's not on him. Part timers, we don't work through civil service. Part time basically go through the mayor, the chief, and things like that. And we had a couple part timers,
so they come
lined up, but however, the council did not put that on the agenda to hire those members.
So they come out of the academy, DC Cubed or whatever. They come out of the police academy, and then they go into they can go wherever directly and be hired directly.
Yeah, so we had one out of the police academy and one officer that always wanted to work here for the longest of times, and we are going to do part time. Again, the chief requested to get them on the agenda to get hired, and it was never put on the agenda.
Wow!
And like I said, just like other things, tires for the cars, it was just always we ended up getting the tires for the cars, but again, it's just a hassle.
Was
to
it
get
Salerno's? You guys should have gone to Salerno's.
They
they went to Salerno's. Yay! Look at that synergy.
So Felicia's saying our police are only 38% of their entire budget. So they only use 38% of their budget so far of the year. Is that
That's
what
correct. He is still less than, like she said, 40%.
We're halfway through the year, or is
we're
it
only
the fiscal
3 or
year
4.
difference?
No, it's the fiscal year, so it goes all the way to the end of the year.
Okay.
But we're only 3 or 4 months into the actual approved budget.
Okay.
And there's only 4 items that are maxed at 100%, but they're like your medical. There's those things that max out at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, you can't
Still
control.
within budget. So again, it's just like, you go into work and saying, hey, you need to sell these widgets, right? And 2 weeks later, I come to you and you didn't sell anything, and you turn around and say, well, you didn't give me any widgets to sell. That's not my problem.
As a council person, and you or Felicia, anybody can answer this. Anybody else in here? So the resolution or the resolutions that are going to be talked about in a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get to bring like, hey, I want to get this brought up at one point, and then who chooses what resolutions are going to be talked about?
So the way again, I'll tell you how it's supposed to work.
Sure,
So
sure.
basically, the way it's supposed to work is any council member can put resolution, ordinance. They can do those things to bring up for topic. That's what we're elected to do. We send them out to the president. The president then will put them on the agenda, and then you go from there.
Is that the president of the council?
That's correct.
They have a vote. They are one of the 7.
Yes, that is correct.
So
Is 7 what it's supposed to be?
That's correct. Yes, 7.
Okay.
Odd
And also
number.
going back to what you were saying earlier, because they were saying there was a big flip flop from December to now, and you were saying some people were on their way out. Is the council essentially like the Supreme Court, where it's like you can bring in new people that see your way, and that's how things get
Well, they have to be
changed
voted.
around?
In. They have to be
Okay.
voted in. So it's all about being voted in. And
Gotcha.
I am, whether you like it or not, I'm the lone Republican now on
Mm-hmm.
council. Shannon Murphy was actually former councilwoman. She was one of the ones that elected or hired chief as well.
Okay.
She was one of the ones that our 5-1 vote to hire the chief back in October.
They're essentially just token titles anyway, Democrat, Republican at that
Yeah,
level. Anyway,
at
It's
our
literally
level,
just
it
fucking
doesn't matter.
community level. Yeah,
And that's me. Truly, I'm an independent.
yeah.
But you don't win anything as an
You
independent.
just have to fill
so-
in one of the voids to get on the ballot.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm, at our level,
I
it
filled
should be
mine
about
out.
working with people.
I
That's
filled mine
it.
out when I was 18. I didn't know the damn difference.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like
I do, but it doesn't
I-
apply. It doesn't mean shit when we're. It's a
it-
philosophical thing. It really means nothing when you're like, who's picking up my fucking trash? What days is recycling? Like, who's bringing? Like, how many cops do we need?
How many cops need overtime?
right.
So
hold
the
on.
reason, hold on a second, the reason I kind of asked that question, and this is me kind of just not saying that you said this or anything, but I'm just trying to figure this out.
Mhm.
Is it kind of seems like people were set up for failure on purpose? That's kind of what it just smells like to me. I'm being completely.
Well, I'll be honest with you. If you look at it like that, I mean, what do they say?
If it smells like it,
smells
looks
like
like it
shit, it
tastes
is
like
shit.
it. Yeah.
I mean, look at it. I mean, we're 6 months in.
Mhm.
You don't hire, and now you're starting to do something. You let go of something. You demote somebody for not hiring, and it's just a big circle.
And maybe because I'm not deeply married into the politics part of things, like who gives a shit as long as the guy's doing the job right? That's how I look at things. I don't go to my mechanic and stand over him and like, you're changing the tires wrong, or tell my
It's a sore subject over there, Al. They just got their tires.
yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, as long as the job's done right and I'm not being ripped off. Like I said, if the guy was like abusing overtime
No.
and lining the pockets of him and the police
No.
officers, okay, you have a complaint. You're going way over budget. You have a complaint. I get that. But if he's doing right and he's making sure that there's not, gaps in time when you don't have enough law enforcement on the streets of Collingdale or any streets of that, to be that matter, like I said, I'm not trying to stir this into anything. It just like you said, when it quacks like a duck, when it looks like a duck, it must be a duck.
Yeah.
That's what I've always been told.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, that vote breached the contract, and that'll be for the FOP and for those areas to handle. At this point.
Yeah. So I mean, it just mathematically makes sense. If you have 10 cops on a budget of 20, but you're paying those 10 cops to do overtime time and a half, you're essentially paying 25 cops on the books.
And you're
But-
wearing out your office.
And you're wearing out your
Yes,
office.
that's the big
but
thing,
You're
I would
also
imagine.
saying that's absolutely a moot point anyway over this whole drama, because that's basically just like not going to say a false flag, but like a Gulf of Tonkin thing where it's like, that's not really what's going on here, man. But that's like what's drawing this vote and drawing the attention. You're saying that something's up. And I mean, I'm not going to put any words in your mouth, but just looking at outcomes, they voted him out, or he's going to be demoted back to sergeant. You said there's only a handful of cops that are eligible for this role.
At this current time, based on the resolution.
Is
yes.
their goal to like bring in one of those other ones and he goes back to sergeant and it's basically just a carousel of the few that can do it?
Well, the question is, will they?
Will
I
they?
mean,
What?
to me, will they take that position if they're asked? Well, I mean, to me,
Well, that's
they're
the other thing.
loyal.
I wonder who would like say, all right, let's play.
What other sergeant would step up and be like, yeah, you know what?
Yeah, you guys got rid of that
yeah.
person in 6 months. I want this job.
Right.
That's the other thing. Like, I don't know. Man.
Yeah, I mean, I won't speak for them. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how they would go about it, but
It's also kind of like probably being like getting a chance to be the head coach of a football team. Like, even if you're going to a garbage organization, you'll take your chances just to get, I guess there's two sides to that coin as well. But Rebecca Perry sitting here saying if they are short on police and do not have an SRO, the budget must be under the salary lines. But like Holbrook kind of imagine if you're paying overtime and you're double, it's going to be a little bit more than double. It's not like you're paying evenly out, but if you're still under budget, that means you're still getting enough out of the 10 guys or the 10 police officers to do the job. But like you said, I'm more worried about taxing these guys because then if you can't do your job right,
Correct. Well, it's
taxing
a safety
physically,
issue.
I
Well, it's
should
a
say.
safety issue. You got
Yeah.
guys working, 60, 70, 80 hours a
Yeah.
week, and they're out. They could, they're part of their job is to be on their toes.
Yes, and
And
Collingdale's tough, and you got to back up some tough areas too.
yeah, and to me, that's the biggest thing is that we're wearing our guys out that want to be here, and that's one of the bigger things. Again, it's a safety issue,
Yeah.
as well.
Oh, this is something. So Shannon's saying the chief has been going out in his dress blues after he works his regular shift because his officers are needed in the street, and he knows his officers are burnt out. So he's actually working his normal shift as chief, and then
and where
and
he
then
can,
patrolling.
he's
Yeah,
got certain rules that he has to follow, to
Sure,
where
I'm
he
sure.
can't do certain things. But yes, he gets out in the field as well, and because he knows he wants to be out there for his guys. His
So-
guys are working hard for him.
Without breaking the kayfabe of the locker room, the other five that voted him out, have any of them hinted to you what they think the future holds?
Again, I am not included in most of conversations until the meeting.
Yeah, let's get back to that.
Oh, yeah.
Is that so? Do you
Yeah.
talk to other towns? Like, do you know if that's
Yes.
normal? Like,
It's not.
It's not normal. Okay.
No, because it to
But,
me,
by law, or whatever statutes or whatever, you're supposed to be right.
we're supposed to be informed, and the community is supposed to be able to speak on the resolution. That's bottom line.
Yeah.
Whether it's legal or not, it's not how you should run a town if you want your town to be part of anything. So, like, the president keeps talking about, we want to work together.
Mhm.
Okay, I want to see that dictionary, because work together and teamwork means include everybody in this group. But
Yeah.
how am me and Miss Coffee not included when we don't get paperwork until?
Oh, is it only you two being kind of left out?
Well, as far as my understanding, yes, but I see the paperwork
Oh.
getting handed out here and there. But whether or not those
Oh.
members complain that they just get the paperwork.
Are they allowed to? Are they? I don't say allowed to.
I
but
like that she's used the phrase "this council" because that's what I was saying. So a lot of us that don't go to these things, I mean, we have people
blinders.
800
We don't have
comments
any
over.
blinders.
I got a burnt Pika's pizza the other day, but when it comes down to the politics about where your tax dollars are going, people stay silent. So you do know that, like, running parallel, Collingdale's acting a little differently with their council than Fallcroft is, and Sharon Hill is, and Darby is.
Yes.
Oh.
So most other towns, they have what they call workshop meetings,
Yeah.
or what we used to have was committee meetings.
Okay.
So what you would have is you'd have a meeting a week before, and then this is
Okay.
where those topics would come up. We would discuss them at that meeting.
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
the
so
public.
you guys would workshop what the meetings were going to be. So then when you brought it in front of the public,
Well, there's still those are public meetings too. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
where the public now can see what to ask questions for at the big meeting. And we're not having those meetings.
how often are you guys supposed to meet?
Once a month.
Once a
We're
month.
technically only supposed to meet once. We only have to meet once a month.
But do you do more? Or unless it's like an emergency or something.
This year
like
we
that?
have not.
Okay.
So those-
and is that odd?
Yes, because
Okay.
again, it's not allowing the public to hear. It's not them to understand. If I don't hear it, that's fine. That's one thing, because it goes back to the politics of this, right?
Mhm.
That if they have enough votes to go a certain way, well, my vote really doesn't matter. But the problem is the people's voice does.
Is
And if
there
the people can't, then that's a problem.
is there a rule being broken if, say, council person 1, 2, and 3 are discussing something without 4, 5, 6, and 7 being in the room?
No, you can't have a quorum of 4. So
Okay.
you can have a group of 3,
Mhm.
and you can have that discussion. But
Yeah.
once you have a 4th member into that group, it's called a quorum,
Mhm.
and that's against the Sunshine Law.
Okay.
So that has to be a public meeting. It has to be announced. It has to be all these Sunshine rules that have to be done for that type of.
It's-
hypothetically,
yeah.
because I know you cannot say, speculations or whatever, but hypothetically, is there any ideas of why you think that it would be you, Councilwoman Coffee, and the mayor kind of being the odd ones out, and why you're the ones left out and the other 5 are, like, working together, even though some of these 5 are responsible for this chief being there already?
Say that at the beginning. I heard the
Why
last one.
why are you guys, like, being the ones shafted in this?
Well, again, I don't know.
Okay.
I really don't know the true answer to that, because I've been nothing but
What do you
great
think?
to them. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's personal. I don't know. And like I said, that's my thing. Is I've always been a very personable person, and I get along with just about everybody. And to have that,
Well,
I
that's
just
one
don't
guy out
know.
of the whole room.
So
We barely get along with
I have
each
another
other.
question. I know that we weren't going to touch on, but just to clarify, they brought up that like race would be an issue, but you are defending him, and the Councilwoman Coffey is defending him. She is, if you're not watching, she is an African American lady, and the mayor, Mateo, what's last name? Spadero. Is she white?
Yes.
Like, oh, she's white. Okay, and the chief is white.
Yes.
Okay. It sounds like that's not an issue off the top of my head, and I don't really know how hiring cops would
Well,
come
a lot
down
of
to
that,
anything. Yeah,
a lot of that goes to what other has been speculated to say.
of course.
Right. Like I said, I've never heard anything through my ears. So for myself to say that I heard it myself,
Okay.
I would say hearsay, right? Because I can't say this person said that, but there has been talk that, certain things. There's videos out there. You can go on Facebook to watch videos and see for yourself. And this is
Okay.
why I don't like to speculate for
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
I
yeah.
want you to come up to that decision, whether what side is the right side.
The other 5 council individuals that did vote to bring him back down to sergeant. What is the racial makeup of them?
They're all black.
They're all black. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So okay.
But like I said, to me, it's more of what
It does add a
hearsay.
dividing line visually. Yeah.
Well, the thing is we do get along on a
Right.
lot of things, and the issue to me again is what I bring up outside of the chief is policy and procedure. There's a way to do things, and if those things aren't done right, then that's a problem.
And it's a cascade effect. If you're not doing that right, then you're going to start cutting corners and not doing other things right, and so on and so forth.
Right. Now, if we were just informed of all the information a week prior or when this information is out there, well, I have nothing to talk about other than I could say vote against it or ask my questions about it.
Yeah.
But that's the problem because, again, I don't argue the vote. The vote is the vote. That's the point of politics.
When
is to get that.
When Kilroy got voted in October, what was the number that it got voted in by? Was it 4-3? Was it
No, 5-1.
5-1.
It would have been 6-1, but the one member was not there.
Okay, so pretty overwhelming.
Yes.
Pretty overwhelming.
Yes.
Okay.
And like I said, the two of the members are no longer on, and 3 of us that voted for him got up and took our pictures with him, flaunted that he was the new chief at the time of that day, now voted against him for whatever reason that they feel that they needed to.
Yeah, and again, okay, so this is where I have to put in here that, again, the quack like a duck situation, where it's personal becomes like, because it seems like they're trying to Al Capone somebody, like they're trying to find something to stick against them. And there's so many, I guess that's not the best one, but like what I'm saying, they're trying to find something just to get rid of him by. Like there's no good reason behind it, and whatever, maybe he broke up with somebody's sister one day, and then they hold that against him, and they're not happy with him. This is a way to get back. It doesn't make sense. None of this situation really makes sense. About he's not over budget. He is trying to make the best of what he can do with 10 police officers, and even going out on the streets and doing what he can do based on the information we just heard from Shannon. And now people who wanted him don't want him. Somebody got swayed for some reason, but it doesn't seem like there's a political or something that would hurt the public in any way reason.
Well, correct. Exactly. And the other thing, too, is if you watch that video, you'll see that the community supported the chief.
Yeah.
And, among other things, and the majority council is just not listening to the people.
And that's my thing is if there's a big problem here, like they really think that they need to break the 12-month rule or the anniversary rule, did those people go and, like, I think we talked about this a little earlier, and talk to all 10 police officers and say, do you feel you guys are getting the best from your chief?
My understanding is that they have not reached out to any of them.
I feel like that would be a good start if there was.
Well, again, communication is key, and that's a lot of it. It's just a lack of communication to everybody.
All right, hold on one second, real quick.
Okay.
So Felicia said King Ryan for the second time. Can we clarify what King Ryan? Who's Ryan?
She's referring to the council president.
Okay, that's okay. That's why I wanted to make sure. I didn't want to assume. The one that voted to fire him last month did not vote for him last year.
He was the one. Yeah, he was the one that did not vote for him.
Okay,
right. And like I said, there's a lot of politics in that vote. I'll be honest with you. After the elections last year, certain members knew were going to come out, and he knew he had certain members coming in.
Gotcha.
And like I said, that's where quack like a duck looks like a duck. That whole saying.
And-
Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
Was
I'm kind of done holding back a lot of my
good.
this because
Yeah.
it's wrong. It's 100% wrong. Just like I stated in my statement, I think it's vindictive
So
and it's political.
just to like rule out like that basically convert confirmation bias that it probably is personal. Was there before Chief Kilroy came in? Was there a history of budget issues? I know that you were
No.
saying that back then. Previously, there was about 13 officers.
We usually keep 15 to 20 officers.
15. Okay.
Yeah, 15 to 20 it usually is what our
So
our
it is a
turnover
new, unique situation.
Well, we started losing officers again. I'm not going to speak for the officers or why they left, but I
Yeah.
know why they didn't leave, or
Why they stayed.
why they stayed,
Yeah.
and if they did leave, on why one of the reasons why they. How am I saying this? Chief was not a reason why they left.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
and you have to look at too. Officers are paid certain ways.
Oh yeah.
Most officers are only paid full money after 3 or 4 years.
Oh,
So
wow.
if you're at a location for 1 or 2 years, you get 70, 60%. So the officers have a lot of decisions to make on what they think that their future is going to look like, whether the police are going to get support by council and say, look, this is my job. I'm out there doing this, and I get no support from a council. Why would I want to work for the council? Not necessarily for the people, but the council is what provides the safety equipment, the safety things, and the extra personnel to make their job safer.
So when you're saying they're only making 70% of their pay, does that mean that like let's say they should be getting paid $60,000 a year, they're only getting 70% of that to go home?
Correct.
Or is
First
it
2 or
still
3
going
years.
to full 100% on the budget?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. So
All
basically, the way it works is
All right.
most places it's like a 70, 80, 90, and then 100%. So
Gotcha.
it can take you anywhere from 3 to 4 years. So if you got a guy that's been in a place for 3 years, he's 1 year from making 100%. If he was to leave and go somewhere else, he's back down. He's going to take a pay cut because now he has to do that. But sometimes, again, I don't know. I'm not going to speak for them on why they left, but some went to better areas with
Yeah.
higher pay. I mean, we're not.
They're bettering themselves. Yeah.
Right, and you can't fault them for
No,
that. I
no.
mean, again, at the end of the day, we can still only afford so much for the budget per
Yeah,
officer. I mean,
yeah.
that's something you have to look at.
Is that why just from knowing it, is that why Radnor gets paid more than like Chester?
it could? I mean, they
And you're
again,
sitting there like, what's the worst thing that Radnor's ever seen? Fucking jaywalking or me going to go pick up some Charlie's chicken?
right, and
Like Chester they see a lot worse than that.
I hear that there's a lot of stuff goes on everywhere, right? Whether you're Radnor, Gladwin, Collingdale, Dart, it doesn't matter. Things happen in all those towns. But I hear from some officers that go from our areas to some of these like Radnor or some of
Yeah.
these other areas, they're not necessarily bored, I guess, but they don't do as many calls.
Exactly.
Which is a good thing for the public,
Well, it's
obviously.
great, yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
that's what you
I
want.
mean, it's like a snowblower. If you're not using it, that's a good thing. You know?
right,
Yeah.
right.
But
then
when you need it, you're glad you got it.
right.
I've seen
exactly.
I've seen like people like leave like Darby and go to Radnor and they're like, my pay went up like almost like twice and I deal with Radnor crimes. Like, man, you were in Darby like right off of my lord. It just makes it's just logical. I mean, I get how fucking budgets work, but I also always thought that was contradictory. Like in the highest crime rate areas, we're paying less than we are to literally just like
Yeah, it's like you get a tougher job, and it's going to pay you less. But
I mean, I guess I know we're going to start switching to something else here, but I do want to just put in that I implore your listeners to go out, check out the Facebook pages, check out social media, read the reports. Come, if you're in Collingdale resident, come to the meetings. If I'm not your cup of tea, then speak your mind because I'm for both sides. I want the public to be happy.
well, listen, listen, making the public happy. Making a room of 5 people happy at the same time, not an easy job.
No.
Obviously 7 people is not an easy job either, right?
Right.
And that's why you vote, and that's why you have to go with the vote and all that stuff. But
that is one thing that I always like stress to everyone is no matter how you feel about national politics or even state politics, remember when it comes to local shit, they are your friends, your neighbors.
Yes.
They are all working together. They are,
and you're not getting paid $1 million a year, right?
What
I get less than $300,
like a stipend.
There you go.
less than $300
for
Yeah,
this headache.
Yes.
Like I mean, I always felt bad when in 2006 where there was like a big blue wave coming through, in 2016 when a big red wave came through and it hurt like local politicians that have been there forever.
Yeah.
I'm like, Trump, Biden, Hillary Clinton had nothing to do with these people. You got caught up in a lot of hubbub when it's really about that shit. But also at the same time, local politicians, they're the ones who can hurt you the most too. If they're corrupt, they will hurt you directly.
Well, I
but
think
they will most
you're
likely
kind of
help you
seeing this here.
directly.
I think you're kind of seeing this here. Like I said, doing my detective work, and I am no police officer whatsoever. But what I'm saying is, like, I'm looking for the motive, and there's no like. You're telling me we're under budget, but we're understaffed, and we have to use some overtime, and we're not coming close to hitting that budget to get rid of somebody.
Well, something out of his hands.
Yeah.
Well, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
like,
That's, I mean,
it's called
at the
setting up for failure.
bottom line, he was not given the tools to do his job properly and was released from his duties for that.
Yeah.
You know, whether or not, you know, again, a lot of the talk was that he didn't talk to council, right? He didn't talk to certain members of council to have a meeting, right? So he did, in the fact of, he reached out to say, look, I just don't want to talk with you. I'd like to talk to all of council about that. And the response, there was no response to that. So,
Yeah.
you know, so he's done everything he could to be able to have these conversations, and they just weren't either allowed or just ignored.
Let me add one thing in too here before I let you go. If anybody's watching,
Oh no, he's sticking around for the rest of the show.
no,
We got
but
some
if
fucking good
anybody's
ones.
watching,
yeah,
and either on either side of it, they agree with you, disagree with you, think he's a great chief, not a great chief, whatever it is. I always like to say we like to be fair here. So if somebody else wants to reach out and point anything out that they think that maybe Steve's missing some piece of information or not telling us for your agenda. I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying, like, whatever. Please reach out. I like to give both sides a chance because I like to hear it. But I just wanted to throw that out there. We're not just siding with anybody. We're asking
Well,
questions.
you're not really siding with anybody.
Yeah.
I reached out to you guys
Yes.
to help correct some of the information that is
misleading
for you guys, but is, you know, again, was stated at the meeting. Again, you guys thought it was a budget issue, and that's not what it was.
Okay.
So that's more the thing. I'm not here to say at the end of the day this, that, or the other thing. It's breach of contract. It shouldn't have happened, and the public stands behind Chief Kilroy.
Okay.
And bottom line, we ended up putting some shirt orders together. I think we raised over almost about $1,000 for Delco Heroes.
Okay.
So we're still putting some of that together.
Great.
But you know, we tried to, you know, make lemonade, you know, at this point. And you know,
Chief's still a cop. FOP is going to sue over this, I assume.
well, that's in the FOP's hands right now. He is still chief,
Okay.
according to some information. He's still chief to a certain time.
So that's going to hurt the budget paying defense on that shit.
Well, that and among other things. I mean, you know, there's a lot of other things. Like I said, I implore your listeners to.
What was 4 more months? Like, if you really had a problem with this guy, even if you didn't like him, just you didn't like the cut of his jib. Like, if that's just you didn't like him, right? Like, why would you just wait 4 more months and do it the right way?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you.
None of this makes sense, and that's why
well, that's the biggest thing,
Yeah.
and that's where it's a lot of confusing. But
a lot
like
of
I said,
square pegs round hole type situation.
I implore the listeners to go out, watch the videos, make those, you know, assumptions for yourself.
Where can they find the videos, by the way?
Well, we have on Facebook, social media, so you can go to Residents of Collingdale's Facebook page.
Okay.
it sure is.
You can
It's a
you
page.
can actually go to the president's page. He has it listed on the videos on there.
His personal page?
His councilman page.
Councilman
King
page.
Ryan.
Yeah, well, the president's
What's
page.
his name? What's his full name? Ryan
Hastings.
Ryan Hastings.
Yeah,
Okay.
he puts them on his Facebook page, so you can watch videos there. Again, citizens of Collingdale.
So you guys posted in there too?
Well, there's a lot of either small things, but just a lot of.
But the actual meetings.
Well, they're on both of those sites.
Okay.
So yeah, so
Okay.
you'll find on both the sites.
I didn't know
like
if you guys
said,
had your own page. You only stream it to, and then people share it to there. So
Nah, but you'll see most of it on. A lot of times they'll get copied to.
And when
everything
is the
copied.
next meeting? So
Tomorrow
people
night.
do tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
Okay.
Yeah. So tomorrow night, it's again.
Oh, that's right. Shannon did say.
Yeah. So we have it tomorrow night.
Okay.
Where's it at now? Where
We held it in the basement at the community center.
Okay. Right next to the new Wawa. Another.
Yes.
Yeah, by the
Yeah,
field.
right in the
Yep.
basement there. 7:30. Like you said, Collingdale residents are welcome. You know,
Are outsiders welcome if you're not?
Well,
from
they can't
Collingdale?
speak.
Oh, I wouldn't.
But if you know, at the end of the day, you know, so a lot of people have businesses in town.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what are they have a business
they're
about now?
again, if they're
Yeah.
taxpayers, they can speak.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
you know, but again, I'm out there. I implore people to pay attention to what's going on.
I used to work in Collingdale many moons ago.
Yeah.
I worked at the old clam bar there. Clam
Okay, off
tavern.
of McCade, right?
Yep, back in the day when it was a thing.
I worked at Collingdale Pizza Hut for way too long, and I worked at Steak 'em Up under 5 different names. I also went to
What, Mike's?
Tony's.
I was gonna
Mike's
say,
Market.
Mike's
Yeah,
Market?
Mike's Market.
If-
Philly Pizza, Steak 'em Up.
Yeah.
God,
Snack it up now.
Snack up.
Snack it up. Snack it
Yeah.
up.
Snack it up. I went to Tony's about 9 times a week, every week for about 15 years.
They really missed an opportunity with Snack Your Bitch Up on that one. I
Snack
really
Your
feel like they
Bitch
did.
Up.
But like I said, like I don't. I'd be honest with you. I don't know if I could go because if something stupid said, I can't hold my tongue. That's probably why I wouldn't be good in politics. Like if I find something that's just egregiously dumb,
Right.
like I'm well known in my company that if something's, I'm like, whoa, back the truck up for a second. Like let's talk about this. From what you just said made zero sense. You know, like it's like that scene from Happy.
I
Billy
am
Madison.
dumber actually after hearing that conversation than I was before.
Yes.
I misquoted that a little bit. but-
I just want Collingdale to be everyone to be holding hands in hands. of
Kumbaya, Collingdale.
all different races, creeds, backgrounds, just frolicking around with just pure joy in a utopia going between O'Hagan's and Brennan's.
Yeah. And again, I
And
just
Tommy's. Is Tommy still there?
it's yeah.
Oh, what a great place.
Tommy's is it Tommy's Tap or whatever?
It is
yeah.
Tommy's Tavern.
Yeah.
Yes.
I used to go there, man. 50-cent beers back in the day. I love that place.
I just want Collingdale to be the gym that it
Belvedere,
almost
right? Is Belvedere still there?
once.
Nah, the building's still there, but it's not open anymore.
I missed the Belvedere.
Fuck them from the shit they pulled at
Oh, well, that was a
Delco
different story.
Date-
I used to
Delco
drink there back
Market.
in the day. I know. I'm just saying.
We did a thing where we put all 128 out of the 160 bars in Delco against each other in a bracket. It was fun, and it was like, competitive. It's free promotions, all that shit, right? Some benefit from it.
We
some
made no
utilize
money
it,
but
whatever.
headaches on that one.
But the Belvedere was one of them, and they didn't do anything to help themselves or whatever, and they lost like first, second round or whatever. We promote them, we tag them, we put it out there. Then we have a fucking Facebook page. Then Dolan's won the second time. And I get like these angry fucking threatening messages all night from Belvedere fucking regulars saying it's all fucking rigged. You're a bunch of assholes, shaming all these small bars that pay you. And we were not paid by Dolan's or anything at that point.
Yeah.
And it was just like this out of line nonsense at 4:30 in the morning on a Thursday. I'm like, honey, I know why you're still up because you're a fucking Belvedere one.
Yeah.
What are the fucking you run out of things to snort off the fucking urinal?
Well, I know you're.
She's saying they're all assholes. Is that us? Because you're right.
I am 100%.
I'm
You're
a
not wrong.
terrible
You're not
asshole.
wrong.
That's actually my
Or the
wife.
Belvedere.
Yeah. By the way, that's my
I
wife.
still love the Belvedere until that.
My wife might get upset with her calling me an asshole because that's her pet name for me. So
Well, like I said, it sounds like we're going to move on. I just want
Yes.
to thank you guys for allowing me to come out and
thank you.
and put kind of help you guys understand a little bit of that. And like I said, it's basically what was said at the meetings, and I just wanted to make you
I
understand.
actually have a
help you understand.
plan that will help you and helps our next sponsor.
All right.
I'll tell you how. If everybody had some of Fat Cal jerky, it's really hard to argue when you're chewing on some delicious jerky, right?
Yes.
So it'll get people a chance to talk, and there will be less arguments. So go to fatcaljerky.com. That's right, Fat Cal Jerky, utterly perfect jerky. Jalapeno garlic, honey habanero, and one of my favorites, pickle, baby. So many different flavors, and now they got bourbon bacon flavor. It is amazing. It is good. You have to try
100%.
their bacon jerky. It is great. Even snacks for your four-legged friends, for all you dog lovers out there.
It calm down when the fireworks or gunshots.
Yeah, 100%. FatCalJerky.com. Find them on Facebook and Instagram. They are doing some amazing things. Another local business just blowing it up in the international snack community, might I add.
Obviously, it looks like real jerky, but do they do deer jerky at all?
They have,
They have.
not
For sale.
professionally.
Yeah.
Okay.
He does his own stuff and all that stuff, but
Man, that's
company
really
wise,
good.
He's
That deer
even,
jerky's
they've
good
even attempted jerky chips. I don't know if it's still going, but they really are taking it to the next level. Started right in Drexel Hill.
he made boar scrapple.
Oh
At
my
one
God,
point.
wild
Yeah,
boar
wild
scrapple.
But there's only things that the USDA can approve that he
right.
can sell, and that right now it's only the dog treats and the actual jerky.
Okay.
Well, Felicia, thank you for coming out or coming on the show.
Yes.
She's a spitfire, man. I can tell you, I like her. I like her a lot.
She's our former mayor too. So she was our former
that's
mayor.
why. Okay, that's why her
she
name
was our
started
former
with that.
mayor. She's now a councilwoman. With
The one thing I would ask Felicia, just one little thing, one little piece of advice: don't hold back. You really need to stop holding back and let us know how you really feel about it. If you let that all stay in, it's not healthy.
Yeah.
So next time, just tell us how you really feel.
I love Collingdale. I just want to put it out there. That is absolutely, when we did the most Delco town, I was like, Collingdale should be a fucking Final Four, if not one of the best. They are a blue collar town. They are very diverse in every aspect, not just literally every aspect. They're very community oriented still. The Bulldogs are still a fucking thing. People still wear the blue and orange all the time. We've dealt with a couple charities that are just really trying to uplift that. It's kind of a rough school district. They're really trying to help out the kids. They are a bunch of people trying to. They're fine, and they're trying to just really improve that place back to where it should be. And it sucks to hear there's some inner fighting that affects the budgets that can affect them moving to the next level.
Can I do a plug or two?
My lord, yes.
Awesome. A couple of things, just real quick.
Because it's shotgun time. Yeah, no.
So I just want to again put it out there. If you guys aren't aware, Miss Coffee, her house burned down
What?
a couple weeks ago.
Did not know this.
Yeah, so she has a GoFundMe out there. I don't have the numbers. I can get it to you. Maybe
Tell,
you can.
tell her to, yeah, she can either message us directly and we'll see what we can do. For her.
So there's that out there. Again, she was just finishing up serving veterans. She does a veteran breakfast, and veterans were just leaving the house, and the back of the house caught fire. Basically, the whole back of the house.
So she was serving them food out of her own house.
She does that, yeah. So Felicia, she does
Wow.
every either monthly or weekly food giveaway, and then she does serving of veterans. She does a lot through a lot of her.
You're talking
own
to save the
events.
community at this point.
Yes,
Like,
yeah.
my lord.
Felicia, she does a lot for the community outside of what she does as counsel. So I just wanted to put that out there.
And she is a firecracker. I
Yes.
love her.
Yeah.
You know, like, she's-
And then if I can, just a couple for the firehouse. if you
Yeah.
don't mind.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we
go for
have Stinger's event coming up.
Which singers?
Stinger's C-Cane.
C-Cane. Okay.
C-Cane, Friday, July 26th, from 7 to 10. Tickets are $40 per person. We can go to our Facebook page, Kind Fire Company, Station 33.
What number's Conduct Fire Company?
33.
33. It's a good number.
33. Again, it's a great night. We have baskets, among other things. Again, it's one of our staples, one of our staple events that we have. So,
Love it.
Yeah.
again, I just wanted to get that out there.
Yeah, send us a little information on that. We can see what we can do as well.
Some of the best clams. I don't know, oysters. I don't know. What are those things that everyone loves over there?
What? Where?
The seafood at fucking Stingers.
Oh, Mooners.
The mussels.
The Mooner
I don't know,
clams.
The ones,
They're
clams. I
Mooners.
don't eat seafood. I don't know. But my friends love it. They buy them by the dozen over there.
They're a great place.
I actually used to work there when it was Caroline's, right before it was Stingers. That was how many years
Al's
ago?
40th
that's-
birthday was there.
Is that where the
Yeah,
post
my
office was still over there,
Yeah,
and
it was
it wasn't
still-
the Rite Aid, or
It
wasn't the
yeah, it wasn't. They
wasn't the store?
yeah, because we had the banquet hall still there.
Yeah.
I've seen many of 4th, 5th, and 7th weddings.
Okay.
No 6th though. Very weird. I saw a 7th, but not a 6th. I thought it weird. I saw the best.
Oh, because that's the Turks Jubilee.
Yeah,
You just go right to Turks for that. Dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was funny because like I saw a Halloween wedding, full costume, might I add,
In March.
that they got married in at 7 o'clock. The wedding was over by 11, and I believe they might have been divorced by 11:05. I think no, I
Maybe
swear to
they were
God.
just in costume as a married couple.
Yeah,
Sounds like
it
somebody
was
got
one
lucky.
of them. It was one of it was not with the husband or the wife wasn't with each other. Put it that way. It was spicy. Put it that way.
You hear that a lot more than you think. You do.
Yeah,
Spicy as those clams over there.
the Mooners are and I know a fun story about that. I know the name where the name. Mooner
Oh wait, their
comes
name is
from.
literally the Mooners.
So they do baked clams, and one of the versions they have are called Mooners, where they put a piece of like a sharp provolone and a little splash of barbecue sauce, and it melts. And it's kind of a weird combination, but it's actually really good. Because a guy I know actually created them many years ago, and it's his nickname, and that's why they got the name.
My friend ate 36 of them once before we went shopping at the mall.
Not a clam
in
guy.
2016.
Nah,
Only in clam
love
chowder.
seafood.
Only in clam chowder.
I
Well, I
love
love
seafood.
seafood. Don't get me wrong.
I mean,
Mussels,
I
the whole 9 yards.
another place
but-
I used to work, the original or the Clam Tavern in Clifton, and it was Lumps
Right.
at one point, where they started, and that recipe went over to Stinger.
Oh, we'll be addressing a weird recipe that picked up in a
Yes.
little bit. What is the next story though?
Well, speaking of the next story is Delco, another Delco stable for some great food and good times.
Papoose. If you ever driven by there, they're on 420. They're on
Balmer Pike.
Pike, right off 420.
Close to the weed dispensary for those who really forget.
They're actually, it's them at Popeyes and the weed dispensary.
Yeah.
Fucking brilliant placement. I love it.
Yeah.
That's capitalism at its finest. I love it. Papoose is known for having good signs, and they have fucking hit a home run this week because it was hot. So they decided to say, it's a turtle, get your booze at Papoose. And their phrase is butt cheeks one word, or should I spread them apart?
They've been well known.
I did see that the other day.
They are
yes.
well known for this sign for many, many years.
Yes.
many, many years. And
They're
I think
not
that's
subtle,
great.
and I love it.
I think it's great in a world where everybody's too worried about saying the word butt cheeks on a sign outside their
Yeah.
establishment. Papoose continues to be
Spreading apart butt cheeks. And you know what is not butt cheeks? They're eye sops. They're
they're
spectacular.
delicious. And actually, they have a lot of really good food there.
They do, for really
Cheeseburgers.
fucking fair, man.
Cheeseburgers are very good. They're in little mini pizza or individual pizza, whatever you want to call it. Very good as well. I remember going there as a young kid. We used to go there a lot because the parents could drink, the kids could eat, and have a good time. Like, it was a thing.
To be fair, I've never been there.
You never been there?
No,
Never been there.
to be
So
fair.
I will have to try them out.
No, it's a great little place.
They have they pride themselves like having like 30 beers available. Some of them are just 6-packs of fucking IPAs. You can grab whatever.
Mhm.
But it's a very cool atmosphere and all that shit. And the food we're talking about, like ISOPs, they apparently created that. They own the phrase ISOP. It's an inside out pizza. Their food is very not Charlie's, Nitty 50s kind of stuff. Like burgers, hot dogs, and all that shit, but done well and probably half the price of Nitty 50s.
Yeah, definitely much more reasonable in price.
They're fun though. I always love their signs. They're one of
We
my
always
favorite
find
things to see.
the better food in the smaller places
100%.
than these high end
100%.
places for sure.
They don't pay us, so I can't officially fucking promote them.
Yeah,
but
no, we frequent there.
Yeah.
Pitchers of beer, cheeseburgers.
Anytime
you know
in that area, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I do want 3 burgers for fucking $8 right now.
This next story is
Go for it.
disheartening.
Disheartening. I don't even remember which one this is. All right, so yeah, we were talking about some ridiculous fucking things. This I saw trending in Pennsylvania because we follow some Pennsylvania pages, not just Delco, to see what's going on with our neighbors. This is now taken on a national level. What you're seeing right now is called Altoona style pizza. They're saying that this one's from the 29th Street Pizza and Subs. Number one, you're in fucking Pennsylvania. I know you're on the west side. They're not called fucking subs. You're landlocked. You don't even know what a submarine is. And it says it's way better than the from the looks of the pic.
Hold on 1 second. Number one, when you have to say it that way, it's bullshit.
Here's exactly.
Don't worry, honey. That profile picture I sent you, it gets better when you see me in person. No, it doesn't.
You went to what's a very bad pizza place around here? Like one that you're just like, fuck that.
I mean, Domino's. Like
Domino's.
That's bad in my eyes.
Imagine if Domino's. Imagine if.
Oh yeah.
Imagine if Wawa made a Sicilian, right? But we're not ending there. Imagine if Wawa made a Sicilian that did not cook all the way through. And by Sicilian, we mean they threw fucking ragu on top and then they encrusted it. There's no other word I have besides encrusted because it is crusty. They took the lowest level fucking welfare office government cheese and dropped the slices of them on top of each other. And there's like lines in them. Like it's so gross. And they call it Altoona style. And you may say, oh, what is this? Some like ancient thing that goes back to like old Rome? No, it's exactly what we just fucking described. And it's not just like a hot dog on fucking a white bread, a slice of bread or whatever. It's not just some ghetto food. This shit is apparently designer to Altoona because that's what's going on over there. It's Altoona style pizza. It has its own Wikipedia page. That is a fucking joke. Is a distinct type of pizza created in the city of Altoona, PA, by the Altoona Hotel. It was made in the fucking the bar of the Altoona Hotel.
So pretty much, I'm gathering they had bread, a jar of ragu, some cheese, and a little toaster oven, and it became famous somehow.
Well, it just reminds me of that cheese bread.
Yes.
From the school where you had the cheese just slapped on a piece of bread, and that's what it was.
And it's like the most government dark yellow cheese. Like it looks like a school bus that hasn't been fucking cleaned in a while with blood stains on it. It's disgusting. They say the definitive characteristics of the Altoona style pizza are Sicilian type pizza dough, tomato sauce, sliced green bell pepper, salami, top with American cheese, and they cut into squares instead of wedges. It is square. Imagine Detroit style, but like
how far is Altoona from here?
It's fucking 3.5 hours. I looked it up.
I don't know. Is it worth the trip to find out this sucks?
And next time you go to Pittsburgh, just swing by.
I'm actually might be going out to Pittsburgh in July.
I'll drive and go there.
If you're in the area, right?
And you might say like, oh wow, cheesesteak started in 1933. Pat Oliveri, man, he took the best of a bad situation, made a really great steak. Altoona style pizza originated at the Altoona Hotel, and it was noted as serving a quote unquote unique pizza in 1996. Following the destruction of the hotel in a 2013 fire, other local restaurants began serving the Altoona style pizza. So this shit burnt down, doesn't even have a Wikipedia page. There's only pictures you can find of just the place like burnt down. Imagine if the Summit Inn created a fucking food And then all of a sudden, Pika's is like, you know what? Let's just start selling that. That was great. Remember that? It's worse than a Lunchable. It's like
I
a
was gonna
lunch.
say, like, this is like, there's things like I eat. I'm like, oh man, I'm so drunk. I'll eat anything right now. I don't even know if I could do that.
Let me tell you something. When-
Yeah.
And by the way, there's more to it. By what they say, there's bell peppers and salami on that.
they say the toppings, that one doesn't have it. That we're
Well,
looking
the one, if you look close enough, you can kind of see the outline of the pepper. If you look
at.
at
No,
them,
dude, that's a crease of government cheese, man.
no,
no.
in the
They're
four,
right there, the green, right?
That's just
Yeah.
a Wick special, dude.
that
Bell
so the
pepper
one with the
salami.
the one with the four under the main picture, the top left hand corner, it looks like an outline of a pepper.
You ever have the peanut butter and jelly wings or like the peanut butter bacon milkshakes?
Yeah.
Something where you're just like, I can't fathom how that tastes, but it's actually pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you, I know what all these fucking ingredients taste like. I know the feel of that pizza by looking at it. I know that
It's
I'm going to be
too
pissed at
bready
that.
for my flavor anyway. On top of it all, but
Well, that's the Sicilian style, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's
thick
even-
and
that's-
non-cooked.
yeah, but
like
that-
you said, it's like almost.
if you
undercooked
look
a
at that
little
bottom,
bit.
if you look at the bottom picture where you can see like the crust of it, that's not even Sicilian. That you can see the holes. Like the bread is different. Like that is like a loaf of bread
Yes.
squared. Like that's not Sicilian crust. That's a loaf of bread cut in half.
St. Patrick's Day at 4:10 in the morning, I will think that that's probably pretty decent. And that is it.
I don't even know if I can say that, dude. I really don't know if I can actually
I
say
do not.
that.
You know how like Detroit style thing became a thing around here? We had
Yeah.
crust open. We had Wolf start making their own.
Yeah.
For the love of Christ, please, please, no one pick up Altoona style pizza.
I actually think we should try to create it ourselves. But I would need the sauce recipe. Like that's my thing is like it's we know it's the government cheese because you could tell.
Because it
But-
doesn't melt.
Yeah.
Like there's Kraft singles and there's one underneath that like every time you see it has a little bit of a different logo and you're
Yeah.
like, ooh, why is that $1.30 for like 50 of them? That's the shit they're using.
That is round.
Yeah.
All right. So here's your next one. So no more cracking beers on SEPTA on the way down to the Eagles game.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America. As someone who had to take the L every day 2 to 4
How
times.
do you not take the L sober? I mean, drunk.
I mean,
Well, I had to take it to
Ugh.
work when I worked in Center City.
Oh, so,
And
again,
now I take like the bus. Let me tell you something. Beer on SEPTA, especially on a Sunday morning, is not a fucking problem compared to the other shit going on.
Oh, yeah.
man.
that's true. At least of the issues.
Everything you can think of, because I did it before the pandemic, and then I started doing it after the pandemic too. Just go down, from 69th Street to Center City or whatnot. Beforehand, when you go during rush hour or whatever, right? There's at least enough sane people to kind of like be like, there's a normalcy here, but you still see some shit. Post pandemic, it is fucking beyond the Wild Wild West. Like Bonnie and Clyde and fucking Wyatt Earp would be like, what the fuck is going on?
I mean, the people who work on SEPTA and all that stuff, they're afraid to say anything to anybody. Like,
Well-
they just let it happen anymore.
on the bus,
I mean,
at least they
like
see
you
it.
said,
Yeah.
They're there. I had to take the bus the other day to go get my car. Because I got hammered the night before. But I was responsible, so I took the bus back to go get it.
smart man.
The bus pulled over twice to yell at someone about blasting fucking music. Why? Because there's someone in there. The yell sometimes is like 8, 9 cars, and there's only one engineer sitting all the way up front or all the way in the back that has no idea what's going on. There's a lot of times where like, yo, it's super unsafe sometimes. I'm a big dude. A lot of people ain't gonna like pull something on me, but I see shit around me. You could just rob someone and nothing happened. It's literally fucking the Lord of the Flies on some of these things. And the other thing, like, and it's not normally like violence or whatever. It's a lot of like no shame and literally shooting up. And when I say shooting up, I mean literally fucking pulling out rubber, tying off, blood dripping.
People peeing
and
in the
broken.
corner, like, yeah.
Peeing in the corner would be fucking almost acceptable to the shit I see, man. If you're peeing in the corner and it ain't fucking running back to me, it's gross, but whatever. But when there's blood dripping down and a broken needle, a broken hypodermic,
You can see where his
sitting there,
cutoff line is,
Yeah.
and it's pretty sad.
That's how bad SEPTA is, where I'm like, oh, at least they're just peeing.
Yeah.
Did they give any context to that? Or
Who?
why? Well, like
No, I don't like they won't say anything. Like I've seen people go up to like SEPTA rails, SEPTA trolley, even I think buses, like the driver will just pull over and like where so we're not moving until you get off. But but also down like on the lines, like waiting where it is, they just won't say anything. They won't throw people out. They are so afraid of, I don't know, maybe retaliation or whatever it is.
So overstaffed. I mean, understaffed. They're just
Yeah.
understaffed.
yeah, I understand.
It's
They're
fucking
short a lot
nuts,
of
man.
people.
And like, yeah, they're worried about like people doing that on a Sunday morning and like, oh, a bunch of drunk people got there. I'm like, what about fucking Tuesday at fucking 10 o'clock? Like, when there's literally someone overdosing.
It's usually at the end of the game. Isn't it?
I
Like,
actually I was
beginning of
down
the
in
game?
I was meeting people down in the city, and one of the people that were just from out of town, girl comes off like she was crying with her boyfriend, and she's crying. I'm like, yo, dude, what happened? And he goes, you won't believe it. I'm like, were you on SEPTA? I'll believe anything you're about to tell me right now. So please tell me. I guess a homeless man or some sort of smelly individual that seemed homeless decided to pee on her feet.
Oh, yeah.
Like sitting, by the way, give the guy credit. They were sitting down and he was able to like fling the hose out and pee down. And just like they didn't even see him because it was just sitting there in the bag and they're looking the other way and just shooting off. Like,
Just get off the next stop, pee, and then fucking get on the next one. They run every 4 minutes.
I don't know. You're in the way of my pee stream, Hope.
You're in
sorry,
the way of mine.
You're in.
Yeah. Well, I think the more fun problem is the people trying to get on the trains when they decide to run and then hit the pole instead.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's one of the best. I think I got on a NBC 10 once for they were saying SEPTA horror stories, and I just had to chime in. I was like, I fucking got one. It was a crackhead. She had a shaved head. She looked like a Lego. She had a bag, just a fucking Wawa bag.
She had
of
like a nub on her
grass,
head. I'm trying to
and
figure
she's
this out.
eating the grass like a fucking goat, and it's falling out of her mouth because she's like chewing her side to side like a fucking horse. Yeah, like a goat.
Like a goat.
And then she would just pick it up off the ground and start
Are
doing
you sure
it again.
it wasn't a goat? Like
No.
I mean, Upper Darby does bring in the lawn mowing goats every so often. Maybe she was going to work.
And I
Well, they're in Morton now.
They're in Morton now. Okay.
Yeah.
another goat.
Wait a minute, Morton's got them now?
Well, they do. They had to clean up some areas.
Oh, what the fuck, man? It's
I think
such
it's
a
Morton.
waste.
I think it's Morton.
It's such a waste.
Yeah.
Like, can we stop doing this fucking goat nonsense?
Can we not give people jobs to clean that up? Like, wouldn't that kind of kill two birds, one stone?
Well, I'm not sure they're.
I don't want to put the goats out of work,
Their
but
context for it, but that's what they did. I think it's Morton. It's one of our towns here that brought in goats to clear an area.
I've gone down to the
you know
fucking-
there's these things called landscapers, right? I just want to
So,
throw this out there.
That's where it comes down to is I've gone down to these stupid fucking goats when they come by and they did like sculling and all that shit.
Mhm.
Here's what they are, is they pay someone to put up the fence to keep them in there. They pay someone to drive the goats there.
To hire a
Then
petting zoo.
they pay fucking 10 people to watch the goats and then get the spots they missed afterwards. And it takes 15 hours when I can tell you as a former landscaper, that shit could have been done in 10 fucking minutes by 2 people. It's bewildering. Oh, what? Because they shit on the ground and it fucking refertilizes it? Why don't we go to SEPTA and I can find plenty of people that'll shit on anything?
I mean, listen, you want to mow the lawn and shit on it? I mean,
yeah.
I got the time. Like, bring it on. Like,
I'm
it's
sure there's
like,
people around that can help.
yeah. I
Oh,
got
what does it save money? I'm like, you're paying them to watch the goats and make sure I don't steal them. Like,
here's your next one.
the damn goats.
Speaking of something you might see on
Oh,
a SEPTA
yeah.
bus.
Delco Restaurant Review. I've never heard of this place.
It's called
Cookie Plug.
Cookie Plug.
I did not get the address. I meant to look it up. They are, someone is upset. This is the cookie container from Cookie Plug. Shaking my head. Really hope this place fails. Why? Because it is a trash can shaped utensil that says raw uncut cookie plug. I assume cookie dough, raw uncut cookie. Whatever. And the W is made out of a razor blade. And most of the comments were saying, in an area with such a drug problem, this is fucking trashy. Whatever.
So cookieplug.com brings you to, I guess it must be maybe it's a franchise.
It's a franchise.
So Anaheim, California is the headquarters.
Big drug problem out there.
And if you click on locations, it says, whoops. It doesn't give you any. So Cookie Plug is a...
Is there one in this area? I'm unaware of that.
Hold on, let me see. I'll come back to it. Hold on a second.
But what's the big concern?
Someone was upset that
Because it has like...
it's a razor blade
drug-
saying uncut because of cocaine.
Like undertones.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the food, but we'll talk about the label.
Right.
Don't worry
right.
about cleaning up the SEPTA bus, but
Right.
So it's in media.
It's in media. Oh, really? Media of all places.
I'll give you
They do
exact-
cocaine out there. I've been to your
29
bars.
East State Street, Media, PA.
Prime real estate.
So yeah, it's right on there on the money of media. So
Right near the
so the
World's Worst
cookies,
Trolley.
like just from a picture standpoint, they're more like they're shaped like a hockey puck. Does that make sense? Like
Are they pucks of cookie dough?
Well, I don't know if they're cookie. They look like they're cooked to me.
Okay.
Have you ever had the crumble cookie? Like you get the little tray. You like either get a big one, they cut it. You give you a little cutter, or you get the small tray. It's more like the small tray. It looks like,
Well, the
but they're a
cutter
little
like a razor
thicker.
blade.
They're a little thicker. It's like a hockey puck. Like it's the
Okay.
best way I can explain. Let me see if I can share my screen here so you can see what I'm saying.
I think that people are upset about saying raw, uncut, talking about drugs, and call it cookie plug. The plug's who you buy drugs from. The razor blade does not help. Like I get it.
See if I can get a better picture here. Photos. There you go. Here's kind of like a good way of looking at it. You guys can see that.
It's okay.
So
Cookie plug.
they look like disc.
And I'm
or
not gonna
puck.
lie, I know the people who cannot physically see it right now, they do write like it is a fucking Southeast LA gang writing, like
Well,
graffiti
it's like
style.
graffiti,
Yeah.
It's based out of L.A.
Like
Well,
Anaheim.
that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean it's. Listen, a lot of people use the graffiti kind of look to it.
The plug is a drug reference. The razor blade is a drug reference. I get where they're coming from, but also I don't care.
I don't know. It's not like it's called dead baby cookie. Like I feel like you're getting a little like carried away here. Like, can we have some? Here's another one. They look pretty big though. Like,
That's the OG chocolate chip cookie.
yeah, the OG.
Yeah.
Part cookie all rolled into one thick, fat, warm cookie stack.
Mm.
Okay, so they do it, and then maybe they cut it into the disc shape. I want to meet Cookie Plug. I think we need.
I want to go
there.
to Cookie Plug, and
I
I also strangely want fucking drugs right now too.
Looks like they have an ice cream sandwich.
Oh, let's fucking go.
Yeah, I mean, you had me at that.
Hold on, that ice cream sandwich looks
Hey, I
amazing.
hate to say it to you, as a fat man, you know, it is a drug in some ways to me. So
yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna say I wanted to cover this because I'm like, I get the whole drug thing and all that stuff. Let me tell you something. You just let me take. I'm probably gonna go there tomorrow, man.
yeah,
I'm probably just gonna fucking go there tomorrow. Also, the way they wrote uncut looks like it says clit.
it does because it cut.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, because it cuts off the U part,
Yeah.
the bottom of the U. Yeah, that was. I don't know if that was on purpose. I mean, everything else seems pretty on purpose, so I'm going to go with that.
Oh, fuck that. I'm going there tomorrow.
Yeah, I know.
I'll report back.
Play on words is always a big thing.
Yeah.
Lansdowne Proud, the greatest fucking page recently. The ones who
I
said,
have to admit, we've talked about Ridley, we've talked about Clifton Hill tonight, we talked about Collingdale's. This one is shockingly one of the finest for the most outlandish. For the longest time, Clifton Heights, the page had the lady who got upset for the
the bike unloading zone.
The bike unloading
Bike unloading zone.
which was the handicap spot has like the cross part where you can't park there, gives them the extra space.
Where it says no parking.
It says no parking. It says bike unloading zone is ridiculous. It takes up too much space.
No, she parked it and got a ticket. And she goes,
Yeah.
"This is a bike unloading zone." We're like, "What?" And she goes, "It says no parking because there's a bike rack nearby. This is where people put their bikes, but there was no bikes, so I should be allowed to park it." And we're like, "It's just a handicap spot. Are you serious?"
And she did not back down either. That was the best part about it.
Yeah,
She doubled down on the ridiculousness.
Lansdowne Proud is a good one because Lansdowne has an identity crisis right now where there's the steadfast that stay there, grew up there and all that shit. But it also has like the fucking people who like the young folk,
The hipsters?
but the hipsters that are just like, I want to be in West Philly, but I don't want to be in West Philly. Like they want like all the joy of it, but like none of the bad things. So they moved to Lansdowne, take out like fucking 6-month leases and try to change the community. This one is an older, a steadfast in there. This actually has nothing to do with any of the drama. This is actually a serious one. I wanted to bring it up with you because you are a first responder and a local recipient. I know Collindale backs up Lansdowne from time to time. I brought this up because I grew up in Lansdowne. I have a tattoo on my fucking arm. This one I didn't know anything about, and usually we get some gossip. Police were called into quiet down a party near a park at Nyack and Sayers. I guess the crowd decided that they didn't like that, so some started throwing things at the police and messing with the police vehicles as they were being dispersed. Additional police were called in to assist from other communities. Radio transmission from a few minutes ago was that one officer was hit with a brick.
Oh wow!
And an ambulance is being sent to Baltimore and Wycombe for that injured officer. This is nuts. Thoughts and prayers to the injured officer. You heard a little bit about this?
Well, I don't know too much about. I just heard a call come over the radio. We were in. If this has happened Saturday night,
It
that's
did.
the date we were covering with Sharon Hill for the fireworks. So we
Okay.
were out. And we heard the radio come on. So we were listening to it. And I thought it was ridiculous. I mean, you got throwing stuff. It makes no sense.
Again, it's like this would never happen back. There's no like if the guy went in there and said, "Listen, you guys got to quiet it down," and you're gonna throw a brick at him.
Well, nobody takes responsibility for what they do.
No, it's not. It's somebody else's fault.
It's always
Loud music made me do it.
Yeah, Niagara Stairs kind of the rougher part. It's the one that like bleeds into Yaden on the backside. But I mean, dude, it's just a fucking party, and they told you to calm it down, and you throw at Lands on Cops. I always feel bad for Lands on Cops, because they were always like just so nice growing up, and there was a lot of part timers, and it's like I don't know, they let me go a lot of times.
A lot of it is just like you said, just calm it down a little bit.
Yeah.
The cops don't care. I mean, they respond because they have to.
So the reason I put it up there is not just because that sucks, and I hope that everyone's okay from that shit. The comments were a lot of people who brought up a point, and I've seen it firsthand, and the world has been seeing it firsthand, especially in the East Coast. Apparently, there's a group of kids or whatever, right? We all fucking went to parties when we were growing up, drinking parties and all that shit, right? And the greatest thing ever is when a cop says, just
Now
turn it
then
down
you'll
and
find
leave.
Holbrook at one still.
Yeah.
To this day.
They're like, oh, fucking, I'm not going to arrest anyone. Just fucking turn it down, go home. Like, not going to run IDs or anything. But the comment section was a lot of old people yelling at clouds, but I got to agree with them for once. Groups of kids have become fucking worse recently.
Oh, they have no, like Steve just said, like there is no, because you know what? As a coach, one thing I'll tell you, you know what the worst thing about coaching is?
The kids.
Nope.
The adults.
The parents.
Yeah.
Any coach you ask, one of the worst things about coaching is the parents, because you get the typical my kid's not playing enough, or why my kid's better than this kid. And I'm like, and I'll ask a simple question. Well, let's go talk to his dad. And you tell me why he's better than your kid's better than them. That's my favorite line.
I gotta go a different route than you, because I see it when I do bounce. I'm a bouncer at a college bar, and my girlfriend's an 8th grade teacher, and she brought up a good point that I have actually noticed is possibly what it is we're coming off a pandemic that took 2 school years away from these kids, so a lot of them are coming up missing years where they had no supervision, they had no structure. They also those are pivotal years. Like the kids graduating Villanova this year at the bar I work at, they were particularly shitty because their first 2 years of college essentially were the years that were remote. So they were never the small fish in a big pond and never humbled. And when you do that, you also kind of miss out on the opportunity to see how to get away with things. You miss out that trial and error in real life and all that shit. Like, how when you're 18, 19, underage drinking parties, they made you a better person for when you're 21, 22, and you can do it legally.
But then you usually quit. But
yeah, and the other thing, man, this is just me being a fucking old head and all that shit. When I was seeing at Villanova, then I saw those videos of down the shore in Ocean City, Maryland, and Margate, where all these kids were just on the beach. They're not doing anything. And when I say that they're not doing anything, I mean I don't mean they're committing crime. They're not there doing anything. They are just like amoebas following this imaginary host where they just be like, people are there. I need to be there. Oh, a problem is breaking out. I will be a problem. They aren't friends. They're not connecting. There's no lifelong relationships being formed out of this. There's no stories. They just go, Snapchat told me to be here, so I must be here. The host goes here. And then as soon as they leave, I will leave. Oh, they are not leaving? I will remain. And I'm sure that's probably what the fuck it was there. And that's what annoys me is like, they're not even having fucking fun, man.
No.
A drinking party is supposed to be wild, man. It's supposed to be like fucking super bad or some shit.
Yeah,
dude.
but back in the day, it's like if the cop showed up, you scattered.
Oh, yeah,
That's what you're supposed to.
Yes.
You didn't scatter throwing bricks.
Yeah.
Like that's the point. Is like
a lack
fine,
of respect.
You want to do something wrong, but as soon as the cops get there, you run. You try to get away with it. I still tell that crazy story that when I was at a drinking party years and years ago when I was underage, I went up on top of the tiniest aluminum shed to hide from the cops while they're running through this house, and that thing just gave out from underneath me. The cops let me go because they just thought it was what happened was enough punishment for me to serve.
Well, it's all about likes too. Like I see, he said about the social media. If you're young, running away doesn't get you the likes. Battling and fighting and playing around. Gets you
All
the
right, fair
likes.
point. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. And I can tell you, man, even seeing the bar and some of these events like this, it is literally one group of like it'll be no one. Then one group of 15 will show up and be like, "We are assembling," and then they all come out and they all leave together, but they're not doing anything. It's nuts, man.
Listen, guys, I agree with Pat. I mean, social media is killing us. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
Yeah, right.
You know, but social media is not a good thing. But follow Delco Live.
And I mean, it goes back to what we're saying, man. A lot of these places are understaffed anyway. Like, God forbid, if all Collindale sent out all 10 of their kids to break up, all 10 of their officers to break up a party, shit, like, it's wild. But it's just like, I mean, even all the town fairs and carnivals that are getting shut down for good. We used to hear like, oh man, Aston had like a fight, Brookhaven had a fucking fight. We weren't getting reports of like actual violence this year. We were just getting words of like unruly groups because it's just a mass amount of kids being shitballs.
Yeah,
Well,
They're not pulling guns anymore. They're not stabbing. They're just a lot of them are just shitty. Like,
well, when they do, that's what they do now. It's no longer let's
Yeah.
fight and we both go home.
Right,
It's,
right,
You beat me, you
right,
embarrassed
right.
me, so now I'm gonna break something out.
Right.
or I'm gonna go after you online, tell everybody make lies up about you.
right.
It's not like back in the day. You dueled, you lost, you won, and you moved on with life.
yeah, and you just
I mean, how many times you been to a bar and like some guys got into it drunkenly, hit each other, and at the end of
Well,
the
making
night,
out
they're
all
drinking
the time.
Different bar, Holbrook, different bar.
It could be any bar, Al, if you're just.
If you try hard enough.
My heart says yes. My Lord says no. This is a great meme about Swarthmore today. It's how to drive through a roundabout, and it's just a car driving directly through the fucking middle of it because this is not France. Why do we need one?
it's the one by the school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the only one, right?
Oh
Yeah, I
wait,
think
so you're a new guest. Have you ever met a single person who went to Swarthmore College?
No.
Exactly. They're not real, man.
The figment of your
We
imagination.
had like 10 guests on here, and I
man.
asked that, and it's like, no. And even like some of the pretentious people that are like super duper, like fucking academic, and like some were from like Swarthmore Township. And they're like, well, actually, my aunt's sister might have dated one, but he also might have been going to Newman. I forget. To this day, we do not know the actual existence of a single person who went to Swarthmore. I've never seen like I follow celebrities and shit all the time, dude. I'm reading
People who go to
Wikipedia.
Swarthmore hate Delco. You know that, right?
100%.
They don't like Delco people.
I mean,
They come into town, they go to the Swarthmore College, but they like nothing around it. I've heard people from there just talking so bad about.
But people
that.
from Swarthmore don't even go to Swarthmore College. Like, it's not like a local town. It's not like you're just like, oh, I'm going to Newman right around the corner. I'm going to fucking Temple or whatever. I swear, dude, we do Delco Jeopardy every year. This is like our 9th year doing it. So I have to write 65 fucking questions every year.
Mhm.
I have, to this day, in all my research, and all the people I've met hundreds of thousands of people. No one has known anyone who went to Swarthmore.
I mean, the biggest thing you hear about Swarthmore is going from 3 lanes to 2, right?
Yes.
That's the Swarthmore killed.
And they
Swarthmore
hate
killed the
cancer
Blue-
patients.
Yeah. That's how we got dealing with Headstrong because of the lady from Swarthmore who was upset with the house being built
I will
there.
chug this beer if you know the name of Swarthmore University's sports teams.
Like
They haven't been active in years,
Oh.
but they do have a name.
No, I guess.
I'm pretty
You're gonna
sure
have to
it's
chug it on your own.
it's like the Emerald
He's gonna
Knights
chug it
or
anyway.
something.
That's what I figured.
I'm pretty sure they're like the Emerald Knights. Or
He
I
Emerald
looks-
was thinking
High.
of Knights or something. That's
Yeah.
what I was thinking. It's
he
something like
looks
that.
to lose on those things on purpose.
Yeah.
Broomall canceled the whole deal with the fair. Broomall really it wasn't Derby because of the kids. I mean, there's no more nothing whatsoever. There is no more.
No, they
No more
canceled that.
Clifton. No, and it wasn't because of their building the school. It
Well,
was because
They did have a local one where they stepped up the police and they talked to a lot of the people and they're like, yeah, this is great. They're there. It's there. Everything happens. And because they didn't want to cancel it. And, at that point, I forget where the place was. It was just on the news. the other
Patrick
day.
Morrissey fucking gets it.
yeah, Swarthmore. I
fucking
lived in
gets
Delco
it.
my whole life. Don't know one dude. I am 53 years old. Great point.
I don't even know.
I don't know. I don't even know. I know somebody used to work in Swarthmore, and I'm like, and they didn't even.
I'll do 6 degrees of like Kevin Bacon. Like, I literally don't know someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows someone who fucking went to rehab with someone who.
And I'm
went
pretty sure
to
you can go
Swarthmore.
6 degrees with anybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Almost.
Except for that.
Yeah. Is Swarthmore College? Is it a front? Is it a conspiracy? Is it an alien conspiracy?
Do we
it's
do an
really it's really a spaceship that they just built a school around to hide the spaceship.
Do we do an Eric Andre where we just go and be like, let us in? What's in there?
He's like, I'm the youngest of 7. He still doesn't know anybody.
Exactly.
From Bywood. All right, man.
Hell yeah. Yo,
My seafood.
my go-to at close was the Bywood fucking Inn. To
Oh,
get
yeah.
6-packs of expired Busch Lights when I was like 20.
Patrick knows everybody. I don't know, Pat. That's not a good thing. I don't want to know
That's
half
a
the
great
people.
thing.
I don't even want to know half the people in this room. And I like Steve.
Fucking I'm actually gonna. Yo, you know what? Tomorrow I'm making it official. I'm making a straight up post on Instagram, X, and fucking Facebook, and saying, "I swear to God, can someone comment and tell me they know someone?"
That's a great one. That post will be out tomorrow. I think that's a great one.
Yeah.
I would love to see the
And then I'm
traction
gonna
on that.
vet every single one of them. Be like, "You're a bot. Zuckerberg sent you here. You're not real."
Here's another one as we get close to the end.
Lord.
Should I read this one because I know it's a little small?
No, I got my glasses on. Delco Restaurant Review, always gold because we know there's such accepting people over there.
Yeah.
If you like a place, guess what? You're a fucking asshole and you should try somewhere better. If you don't like a place, well, why don't you fill out an application and fucking work there, asshole? Delco Restaurant Review. This is this is a good one. I don't complain. This already starts great. I don't complain about much on here. I do,
but when I do,
but when I do, boy, is it gonna rile some feathers?
The doozy.
I don't complain about much on here. I do not expect stellar food or stellar service inside of major metropolitan suburbs.
Wait,
oof.
Right there's a bit of a slap in the face. Why not?
Yeah.
Keep going.
Major metropolitan suburbs. Okay, so you've already declared war. Let's see where this goes. I expect consistent good service and consistent good food.
But he doesn't want stellar, but he expects good.
Right.
Got it.
Consistently. We're a major metropolitan suburb, so we're fucking trash. If the hours are posted, I expect that the hours are honored as posted, with the exception of vacations, emergencies, and reasonable reasons. Reasonable. What did this guy go to Swarthmore? He's fucking all hoity-toity, but he can't fucking get a better adjective. So far, in the past 30 days, I have had 3 restaurants say that they were closed before closing time. All of them were solid recommendations here. What did AI write this? Because how could it be a solid recommendation if it was a bad fucking recommendation?
ChatGPT over here.
Yeah. I'm not coming in 10 minutes before posted closing time and expecting them to cook and stay open. No, I'm talking 1 hour or more from closing. Well, that seems a little ridiculous. Okay, let's see where this goes. So far, it's Fellini's Cafe, Newtown Square, at 8:38 on a Friday night. The door says they will close at 10, so I expect the kitchen to close at 9:15 to 9:30.
A lot of kitchens, it's usually an hour before closing time. It takes time to serve an hour for dinner.
I don't show up to a restaurant about an hour because I respect those times too.
But also, as a person who's worked in different restaurants, now a difference between maybe a sandwich shop versus a sit-down cuisine restaurant.
Goes to a
keep
sandwich
going,
shop
keep going, keep going.
The next one is Johnny Paisano's on a Thursday evening at 6:45. Rosin Rocco's in Newtown Square. There was even a big sign saying 8:15 was their last seating for dinner. We were there just about 8:02. These are very specific.
This guy only like to eat at 8 o'clock at night. Like, what the hell, man?
You never know. I mean,
come on, nerd.
So 2 restaurants that Italians eat late, dude.
No, we don't.
Yeah, you do.
No, we don't. We eat early.
You're not even that good of an Italian.
We eat 2 o'clock, man. That's what Italians eat.
That's when breakfast is for Italians. So 2 restaurants that we have never been to, trying to visit but denied for whatever reason. 2 restaurants that will not get our money until sometime in the future, maybe. Each time we ended up, I don't know. I don't care anymore. No, it's fine. I don't give a shit. So here's the thing. Fellini's, 8:38 on a Friday night. We'll deal with that in a minute. Johnny Paisano's, where the fuck is that?
So if
that used to be in Springfield across.
It's closed.
No, no. Now they just reopened.
Right. They reopened. They're in that shopping center where by the movie theater across the way. I think Staples is in there and all that stuff.
Yes,
it's in that shopping center where the Hibachi's is.
Across the street. Yes.
And I actually love Johnny Paisano's.
Rosin Rocco's.
That's in. I think they have,
they
have 2 locations. I think, but this says Newtown Square.
Isn't Rosin Rocco's like a pizza shop?
I think so.
Then why are they fucking talking about seating?
Well, maybe they do have indoor seating.
Wait, if that's that's Brumal, right? Is that the one right by the Swiss Farms?
He said Newtown Square, so I don't know.
But I know
I can look it up.
Right,
just so where it's cut off says each time we ended up some other new to us restaurant that we enjoyed enough to make it a "we can come back here." That doesn't even make sense. That's not even English.
I don't think this is a person.
Each time we ended up some other new to us restaurant
Yeah.
that we enjoyed enough to make it a "we can come back here."
Yep. Great.
Yeah, great.
So Fellini's.
I've been there.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
one in East Square.
I actually used to work at the one in Media.
Medea.
Yeah,
Medea.
I mean, it's a small place.
It's pronounced Medea, Al.
It's a small place,
Yeah.
and I could see
I wrote
them
their lunch
closing a
menu
little
at one
earlier when
point.
they're packed. I mean, I was there and they were packed. There's not a lot of seats there.
Yeah.
And the food was great.
Well,
So, I
two
mean, I know
things.
you're not, you know,
Two things.
you're,
You run a restaurant, right? Or any business. You can close whenever the F you want. Now, listen, if you're going to be consistently not, like I used to go to a barber, love him to death, he was a friend of mine. Now, of course, I don't need one. But back in the day when I had,
bitch.
yeah, back when I had long flowing hair, you know, a big old beard, before it turned white, I would go there and he would be open. It was like a thing, like where people would try to get there at like 10:30. You know, he's not gonna be there at 11, but you knew it'd be a giant line, and you don't want to spend 3 hours waiting to get your hair cut. Well, I chose to do that. Don't do it. Like, I mean, I like if that's a complaint, that's not a complaint to complain about. And like, I call them up, like, listen, I've just been there a few times. You guys, what time do you stop seating? Especially if it's later, like the 6:45 one, whatever. Maybe they ran out of food.
John Paisanos, though, it's a sandwich shop. Don't they
No,
close at
no,
7?
they're kind of a restaurant now.
Yeah,
are
they're
they?
changing up the whole. I saw the.
Yeah, my parents have gone there.
I'm out of the loop.
They went from a catering / like you could sit in the old one, but like it's not like a restaurant. Like it was just a couple seats you could sit down and eat. It was more of a takeout place, but now they've done both catering, takeout, and they have a sit down restaurant.
It's a new owner too. I think a whole new.
Oh,
owner.
is it
I
new?
think it's
That
a whole
I don't
new
know.
owner. I'm not 100%, but I do remember seeing the story.
Yeah.
But like I said, with Fellini's, that's a small place. I mean, I can see them getting packed and saying, "Hey, we're not gonna. The seats aren't gonna open up. So why let you in?" I mean,
The Burnt Coffee Company says, we love Delco Live on Instagram. Well, thank you, the Burnt Coffee Company. Always reach out to us and say hello. But yeah, I mean, I get it if it's annoying, if it's constantly happening. Maybe you suck. I'm just hold on. I'm gonna take a different route with this.
I love how we start this. It's like, oh yeah, it's such a nice fucking place. It's so toxic. Here's us just yelling at this person anyway.
Oh, yeah, here's you for having an opinion, and I hate your opinion. Now, yeah, but like I get it. Like it's annoying, but then don't go there. Like I don't know what to tell you. Like people's complaints online to me have gotten ridiculous. Like Amazon
keyboard warriors.
Well, Amazon, like I love the ones on Amazon anymore. They're like the. I give this a 1 star because the box it came in was bent, but the rest of the product is great. It works wonderfully, but it's getting a 1 star because the box was dented.
Yelp, there's a Paul Revere review where they gave it 1 star because the door was too heavy.
Don't be a weak bitch.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what else to say.
Or I mean, the favorite one we ever covered was Santino's on McDade.
Mhm.
Someone gave it a 1 star review because they said, I drive by it every day at rush hour at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and there's never one car in the parking lot. So apparently it sucks. You didn't even go in, but you wrote a review about it,
Right? Just because of what you saw in the parking lot.
And then someone commented like, "We opened at 4."
That's what I was going to say. Right? They opened at 3:30, and it's just.
I drove by there at 2 a.m. and they were closed, and there's nobody in the lot. They must suck. Like that's ballsy to put that out there. Like to me, that's either a competition or the dumbest human being in the world, or both. It could be both.
I mean, it's different if you drove by and you saw the plants and the weeds and the grass wasn't cut.
Oh, it can
things
suck.
like
I don't
that.
care. I care about the food.
Yeah,
Some of the best places are grimy as fuck, man.
it's true.
We sat here praising Tony's, and they named all their mice that run around.
Where do you think they get the good cheeses
Little
from?
Pepito. Little Pepito.
Are we going to Tony's after this?
Yeah, like I do. Like I do. It's Monday. Yes. All right.
And this is why people should never take us seriously, by the way.
You think I'm joking about Little Pepito?
Yeah, I know.
3 Tony's regulars right now are fucking stroking their gun, going, he's telling people about Pepito. I would die for that mouse.
I might die because of that mouse.
Yeah. Our boy Glenn Muntz, who is a great guest and actually got us some great footage. He got to live his lifelong dream of seeing an 18-wheeler get stuck under the 420 overpass the other day. He let us use the picture for our post. He is an announcer for a professional wrestling company in this area.
Yeah. Great guy. Great guy, by the way.
Me and Al got the honor of going down to one of these events they do. They do them at the Harris Chester. They do them out back at the top of the stairs above the racetrack out back. And dude, they're super fun. I guess it's called Hybrid Wrestling. Is that the name of the company?
Hybrid, yeah.
Hybrid Wrestling. It's called Double Down. Every so often you'll run into people from WWE that are just back in the indie circuits, but a lot of up and comers that really have a lot of potential. And I got to tell you, their matches and their athletic ability is so fucking entertaining and killer.
And their crowd work, by the way. I had so much fun there. We would go back and forth. And the one girl, what was her name? She had like the face, like half her face was painted.
Yeah, she's the one who
she would put I had like the thigh crusher or something.
Yeah.
Like with her. And I said,
she was ruthless. I love it.
They're sitting there, she's like putting the guy in a thigh crusher, and I said, so wait a minute, this is a bad thing? And she's like, I like how you think. Like, it's like points at me.
She started beating someone with her weave, and I yelled, unbelievable. She was great, dude. She needs a fucking WWE contract.
Yeah.
They're really skilled, man. If you're into that shit, it's great.
And but by the way, also, like, this day and age we were talking about a little earlier about how expensive things are and just outlandishly expensive things are.
They're cheap.
Going to any game or anything, like if you want to go to a Phillies game, it's a couple $100 easily for you and a kid, like one person. Ringside seats are cheap. It's amazing, good time. The kids are gonna have a good time, and you get to support people who are really doing really working their craft. So I think it's an amazing thing, and you might see us there. You never know.
It's a really cool setup they have, where it's like literally it's the outdoor like pavilion that you don't really think it exists until they make it their own. Outdoor bars. We went in the summer last time. It was not too hot, a lot of shade.
It's underneath. Fun. It's underneath the overhang, so you're
the
not
beers
like
are beer price, man. The food is fucking the food price in there. It's killer. It's at 4 p.m. in the afternoon, 4 to 7, dude. Eat lunch, go see this
all
shit,
ages.
go grab dinner
all
afterwards.
Ages.
Well, they probably do it, play a lot better than big guys, just like because they have to work for it. So it's probably a better show.
I'm gonna double check this. Don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure Hybrid is a Delco-based wrestling company.
If they aren't, they were.
There is some local ones.
Yeah.
We had one that we were trying to get over at the community center.
ACPW.
I'll be honest with you, I couldn't. It never got off because
Frankie
we didn't
fucking
have
Prizzo, Al.
You gotta have like representatives. You gotta have certain
Yeah.
things to actually do it. We had the whole the ring set up and everything, and unfortunately, like the doctor didn't make it, and so we had to cancel the show.
Oh, we didn't make it. Like he died, or
no, he didn't. He didn't make it, so we ended up having to cancel the show.
So you can't see it in this picture because it's kind of smaller. But the hybrid, the R in hybrid is the Delco outline.
Oh, I love that. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, you really can't tell, so you look really close. But I'm like kind of like, so I was they don't want, they wrestle at the Lighthouse Hall in Eddystone.
Love it.
That's why I knew that. I was pretty sure.
I'll tell you, this is not the fucking dwarf wrestling you're getting down in fucking at Bar 13. Like, they're actually like, I'm a diehard pro wrestling fan still to this day. And I see these fucking cats doing this shit, and I'm like, that is main event worthy, dude. They are super athletic. The spots are so much more than an indie fucking spot. Like, it's killer, dude.
And by the way, you're gonna miss great tag team things like Backseat Boys versus Kelly's. The Brothers Collide, as they call it.
Backseat Boys were there last time we went.
Yeah. Marty Bell, that's a girl, Marty, M-A-R-T-I, versus Gabby Ortiz. Jimmy Lloyd, which we saw him there as well, versus Johnny Kashmir.
Great name.
Yep. Alec Price versus Charlie Tiger. Plus Joey Jelena versus Facade Facade. I'm gonna read that right.
Jesus.
Tasha Steeles and Allison Kay. And let's see, we got Joey Janela. Oh, they read the same thing twice. But yeah, no, you gotta check it out. Like, and it's a great time. Professional wrestling, so like if your kids are into it, like try going to a regular professional wrestling event and not spending $500 at the end of the night.
Oh my god,
I would spend that amount for mine.
Yeah, it is a great event, and like again, we're not getting paid to tell you this. We just have had a really good time there, and Glenn has been a big supporter of Delco Live.
Glenn's been a great supporter. Mike Hamilton, the guy who was like one of the higher ups there, they've treated us well.
Might take my kids to this. This is a good time,
dude. That was a super fun night, dude.
Yeah, I think we need to go.
I'll tell you exactly how to do the best day possible with that, because me and Al did it. You go to Dolan's, you get a little bit of their food, you drink heavily, you fucking Uber right down 291 to Harris Chester, you keep the day going, you come back, you go back to Dolan's and spend more money.
Yeah. Still cheaper.
Still cheaper.
And bring your kids to Dolan's. They don't care.
Yeah. They have food now in a window.
Yeah.
They have a
Bring
window.
them back. They'll be fine. All
They'll
right.
be
Last
there.
story of the night.
All right, yeah, because we've been holding on to this for a couple episodes. Joe Holden, great fucking source of Delco news over at CBS3. He's treated us well, and he's like half our inspiration. Historic occasion. Only CBS Philly was at the massive Thanksgiving last week, where the remains of Father Bill Atkinson were reinterred at St. Thomas Chapel on the campus of Villanova University. An Upper Darby native, Monsignor Bonner graduate, and Augustinian priest and teacher, Father Bill is being considered for sainthood by the Vatican. He died 18 years ago, and until last week was buried at Calvary Cemetery in West Conshohocken. Father Atkinson was seriously, so I can tell you the whole story about this shit. So he was a teacher at Bonner, he was a priest at Bonner and all this shit. He was in the seminary in the 60s, was in a sledding accident.
Toboggan.
It was whatever.
Mantis
If you're wondering,
toboggan.
yeah, Mantis toboggan. He went off the fucking sled, hit a tree, broke his fucking neck, was crippled from the neck down. He was the first priest to be sworn in and finish all that shit. And the Pope gave special exemption of him becoming the first priest that didn't have to raise his fucking arms and bless the Eucharist. It could be in a wheelchair and all that shit. He was a disciplinarian and a theology teacher at Bonner. And he was well respected because it's, a bunch of dudes or whatever. And, if a fight broke out in the hallway, priest fucking wheels himself in the middle of a wheelchair, you're gonna fucking stop and you're gonna listen to what the fuck he says. You'll be like, oh, like,
You almost have to respect it.
Yeah.
Even the most disrespectful human being.
but he
has
was
to
like,
respect it.
he was good. I did have him all 4 years I was there. He was just a good leader, man. He never let the disability hold him back. So he died, and then to become a saint, you need 3 miracles, and he started going up the chain pretty quickly, man. Some of these saints take hundreds of years. We're
Well,
only 18 years in.
It's like Blessed Catherine Drexel, too.
Yeah.
Now it's not St. Catherine Drexel now.
Yeah, same fucking complex and all that shit. So he needed 3 miracles, and I think he's got 2 and a third one on the way, and they're all Delco based.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And like they go up to review at the Vatican and all that stuff. And like one of them was a kid who got hit by a car on Baltimore Pike and wasn't supposed to make it, and now he's A-OK. Another one was someone from Delco that got like brain cancer, stage 4, and all of a sudden they were healed. Like holy shit! And you got to prove that you prayed to him, you gave him all the credit, and then something crazy happened. So he may be the next saint. And all the shit is Delco.
So he said he spoke to a local mother's cure for stage 4 cancer, like you just said. It's under investigation as a possible miracle through the intercession of Father Bill Atkinson. Personal note, during my 4 years at Bonner, this is Joe Holden, I was humbled, one of the Father Act's many caregivers. I'm humbled to tell the story. That's pretty cool. That is cool.
Yeah, like the
Even though I
football
went to
team
Ohio.
had to go,
Good
go-
Delco news.
Yeah, they had to go, wake him up, put it, get his clothes going and all that shit, get the wheelchair charged up, bring him over, make sure the steps weren't a problem, and other people volunteered for it. I was a piece of shit and didn't play football, so I was just one of the many problems that he wheeled in the middle of. Fun fact, you want to know a ridiculous fun fact about him? And it's the anti fucking miracle is he broke his neck in a sledding accident. And when I was 16, I think he had pissed me off at school or some shit. We were sledding, and I'm like, I'm gonna do a cool flip. What's the worst that could happen? I fucking Father Atkinson myself. That time, sledded a million times in my life. Shattered collarbone, shattered shoulder, all that shit. And I was like, I'm never making fun of a handicapped person again.
Karma's a bitch.
Yep.
huh?
And to this day, I will never say a fucking bad thing ever. That was humbling, like they said.
Yeah.
He got me good.
He did get you good.
He got me good. He was still alive at the time, too. Yeah. I don't know. That's all I got.
That's what I got. Well, number one, Steve, thank you for coming.
Yeah,
in.
dude. Thanks for
thanks
coming
for
out,
having me, guys. I
Shit.
And
appreciate
thanks for sticking around too. I know it was a little longer, but it was a very
Yeah.
spirited and informative.
It was fun. Yeah.
Maybe have you back on again if anything else comes down the pike. We'd like to hear, like, get a follow up to the situation. If not,
We can-
worst case scenario, we can have you call in too, like, just at least give us a heads up or whatever is going on.
Like,
Send us the info about about Councilwoman Coffee's, GoFundMe for the house. That
Yeah.
sucks in general.
Yeah, it was definitely. It was
You know,
right in the middle of the day.
It
too,
just like
so.
seems like sometimes you got good people like her who
What's your
doing good things and like stuff like that happens. Just
so
drives
you're
me
like
insane.
Mr. Collindale. What's your favorite pizza within Collindale? What's your go-to? Even if it ain't in Collindale, it's a neighboring
Femi's.
thing.
Well, pizza.
Friday night pops up. Who you ordering?
Genoa's.
Oh, is that how you pronounce it?
Genoa
Okay,
or
yeah,
Genoa.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know
Genoa.
how to pronounce
Half
it.
of that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I do enjoy their pizza, but otherwise it'd be Malo's.
Okay.
Who?
Malo's Pizza.
Malos.
Mhm.
Where's that?
It's right at right on McDade.
Jessica Zane is saying he's picky. So
I
are you a picky eater? Like you only eat like 5 things? Are you one of those people?
I don't like the pizza to fall apart.
What do you mean? Like the cheese to slide off?
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah, when you
okay.
take one bite and then the cheese goes.
Oh,
with
that's
it.
annoying.
Yeah, that is
so
annoying. I
That's,
don't know. I agree with
and
that.
what you know is they do really good as far as that goes.
Speaking of Collingdale, I put a post up the other day. The old Chris's, it was Chris's Pizza, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And now
Shivani's, I think it's
Geo's.
Geo's, yeah.
yes.
Very enjoyable. I actually liked it a
Yes.
lot. Good sandwiches there. Good cheesesteaks.
They're getting some hype as one of the better cheesesteaks in the area.
We have that one and the new one by the old Cell station or Cell across from Rural Farms. It's another local guy, the Delco guy.
What's it called?
Across the show, what, the old fucking hangout or the
Next to
dugout,
the
whatever it's
CVS,
called?
or Walgreens, next to the Walgreens, that little store.
Oh,
that's
the
right
old
there.
cell phone. It's
Yes.
called Prime Steaks.
Prime Steaks. Yes,
I've seen it. I
Prime
haven't had it.
Steaks,
Is it
okay.
any good?
yes.
Oh, okay. I'll try it out.
The thing with both of
Then
those,
we got
though,
about
is you have
3
you have a lot of small things like
We have 2 new cheesesteak places to try out because we
Wait, was that the one that was the bar called the Dugout?
Yes.
Yes.
And before that, it was called Uncle Shanky's or some shit.
Uncle
I don't know
Snazzy's.
that.
Uncle Snazzy's. They didn't have taps. It was just a cooler of beer.
McDade
yeah.
and Lincoln. There we go.
Oh, so
for
down
Malos.
there.
That's
Okay.
for Malos.
McDade and Lincoln. That's fucking Tommy's territory.
Yes,
And it's called Malos.
Malos Pizza. Yeah,
Man, I feel
a big
bad,
supporter
dude.
of Collingdale. They're a big supporter of Collingdale. So
I feel
that's-
bad. I
Oh,
really have not really heard of
one
them.
thing I almost forgot. Like Collingdale, I gotta give him credit because remember when we were doing the whole fighting for Freddie thing?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
because there was a whole Collingdale thing because of Freddie Byrne and his son was dealing with the cancer and all that, and we had it at the Lantern, Collingdale staple, and
Except that it's not in Collingdale, but
is that Collingdale?
nah, that's
Because isn't that Wawa? That Wawa's
No.
they call it the Collingdale Wawa.
it's on the it's either Glen Olden or Fallcroft. Like that's the dividing line. But
Hold on, I gotta look this up now.
Robert's Oxygen's Collingdale. Yeah,
Yes,
it's like
it's Collingdale all the way up to the intersection, and we're actually Collingdale, Darby Township, and Glen Alden.
Yeah,
so that
yeah.
corner, that it's all 3 stores.
Like
are
it's
different locations.
Collingdale.
It is actually
No.
considered Glen Olden and from the address.
Yeah.
Yes.
41 West Oak Lane. Glen Olden.
19036.
Yeah. Oak Lane. Yeah, all down Oak would be like Briarcliff.
Well,
and Glen Alden.
Either way, Collingdale came out in droves for one of their people's kids who were suffering. So I gotta give them a lot of credit. That was a couple of years back. But,
Wait, how long have you been a firefighter for Collingdale?
Only 4 years.
4 years. So you were not there for the Roberts Oxygen explosion back in the day.
Well, it was the not Roberts. It was.
Was that Roberts? Oh shit, you're right. It was the one behind. Okay, yeah.
I can't even think of the
My
name.
life is a lie.
It's like a game show, right?
We've
Where
been
you
saying
forget-
that for years.
You
Yeah.
forget the name while you're at the game show because you know the answer. And
Yeah.
You just can't think of it right now. Scully's.
Scully's
With
is the
Scully's.
one that
So,
blew up.
I wasn't,
Yeah.
but I was home that day I had my kid, and
I
so I
remember-
called.
that
and
was
it's
like-
right near my house.
That wasn't that. That was what
2009.
I was going to say. It wasn't as long. You were making it sound like it was like in the 90s. Yeah,
No, it was.
because I remember it shook people's houses in Clifton. Like it was like a shockwave went through the area.
Yeah,
It's pretty
It's only
crazy.
4 years.
So I'm gonna have to try Prime Steaks. We'll do a little review on it at one point. We try to do little reviews.
And he's a Delco guy too. So
And there's another
It's
one.
family-
What was the other
family
place we had to hit up?
I'm just happy to go to a fucking Uncle Snazzy's again and not to buy, a Miller laid out or a Bush laid out of a cooler or a Cricket wireless phone in that building.
Yeah, I don't know how you fit anything in there. It's the most narrowest building in the world.
It's
hey,
like
it
yeah.
fits perfect. I mean, it looks really nice in there. I mean,
Size doesn't matter,
really
Alex.
good
How about girth?
Yeah, that's what people with small buildings say.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah, I
usually
want
the
to check
case.
that out. That was amazing. That sounds. I drive by it a lot, and I'm like, I gotta try this, but I just never think about. I'm getting something to eat. I never think about it.
What's the most ridiculous resolution that's ever been put out there? I know that you only get 5 minutes to read them, but what's one where you're like, wow,
Yeah. Have you ever looked at one and went, Jesus, why are we even talking about this?
I'll be honest with you, it's too hard to really come up with this one. I'll be honest with you. A lot of the stuff that's been going on lately are more power resolutions. So not
like
necessarily
internal fucking bullshit?
Yes, yeah. it'd be
Oh,
more
I'm
of
supposed to
that.
say like power struggle resolutions. Like, is that what it is? Like, is that what you mean by that?
Well, more just We'll leave it at that.
We'll
Do you
leave
guys
it
have
at
to
that.
like approve like businesses that move in or anything like that?
No.
Okay,
Well, it
alright.
depends. There were certain businesses, yes, but
Like if
most
I
of
was
the
opening up
time,
a strip joint,
zoning handles that.
if I'm opening up a strip joint, you would be like, hold on, we gotta.
Correct.
Yeah.
There's your certain areas. You have industrial zones and different areas that
yeah,
you can
yeah.
actually do those things in. Otherwise, zoning is gonna. Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of smoke shops, unfortunately.
You guys
And-
sure do.
Yes.
That's a
unfortunately.
recurring theme on our show.
Yes. They
It's
pop
not
up
just you.
everywhere. They
It's
pop
not
up
just you.
everywhere. Yes. Well, I think we have 5 or 6 in town
And that's a lot for 90,000 people, man.
for 1 square mile.
My lord.
Yes.
Did you go to Academy Park?
Well, I was born here. I actually went to school in Mississippi.
Oh,
And then
wow.
I moved back when I was 18. So, but all my kids went to Academy.
Gotcha.
What do you miss about Mississippi? I have to ask a question.
It was more in the middle of nowhere. So you
Really?
can still go. It's not like you go to like the middle of nowhere here. You got to drive forever. Down there, you can still live in the middle of nowhere and yet still have stores. that are close.
Okay.
So I think that's really the.
we
the
talking like
biggest thing.
Biloxi or like
No,
Yeah,
actually, right
fucking-
outside Memphis. So it would be right over the border in the South
Are
Haven.
they near each other?
Mississippi.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it would be Cherry Hill to Philly.
Okay.
Basically the same thing.
What brought you down there?
My dad worked for the Navy Yard.
The Navy.
Gotcha.
So when they closed the Navy Yard in 88,
The river brought
87,
him down there.
they transferred him down there. I was
Gotcha.
in So then I was 18. You know,
How long were you
figured-
there for?
from 2nd grade till I was 18.
Okay.
So what is that like 12 years? I've been
That's
I've been
a
here
long time,
more
yeah.
than I've
Yeah,
been
no.
there now. So,
Still, yeah.
I still have family down there. My
Was
brothers
there anything
live
like
down there.
that was like really cool about Mississippi? Like just like they had like a really cool food that you liked? Or
Yeah, like what's
anything?
their Altoona pizza down there?
Yeah.
Every trip I've ever gone
Cat
on
meth,
was
yeah.
food based, like
Well-
instigated by food.
For me, again, most of us we'd go. It's almost like Philly and Delco, right? I lived in Delco, but
Mhm.
we would say we're from Philly. We'd go to Philly. We'd go to Memphis. So
Yeah.
Memphis is really where you would find
Yeah,
everything.
you
You
got
got
some
Beale
good food in
Street.
Memphis.
So Beale
Right,
Street is the biggest
right.
thing, but that's really.
I've been to Memphis a lot.
What's
It's good.
Memphis' food?
Barbecue.
The barbecue.
Yeah.
Barbecue. Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, we.
By the way, like it's real. Like I've been to Kansas City, and it's legit. Like people like talk. Like I'm like, come
Yeah.
on, how much different is it than the barbecue I have around here? It's so much different.
Oh yeah, it's way different.
Oh, it's so
so
good.
like with Philly, where it's like, oh, there's the Philly cheesesteak and there's the Philly hoagie and all that shit. Delco does them a different way, and like even Chicago, man, Chicago deep dish is fine, but you go to suburbs and make it better. Was that a thing out there? Like, did Mississippi do barbecue a different way or better, or have their own little staple?
I don't know about stable. To be fair, again, it's been almost 20 years since I've been down there, but I know a lot of guys that do a lot of the barbecue in Mississippi. So
Anytime I
it's-
think of Mississippi, I always think of Bubba Gump. I don't know why. It's
I know
just-
because he's from Alabama.
I know. It makes zero sense.
yeah, he's not even from
I
there.
was the first thing I
know.
think of was Mississippi burning. You know,
I equate it with something that has nothing to do with Mississippi.
And
I never said I was a smart man.
they're not
Thank
really
God
good
for my
city
looks.
stories there either. That you
we
would wanna-
actually had a pretty strong following in the Deep South for a while on the show.
What was it? The
Ram Ranch.
Ram Ranch.
Ram Ranch.
Yeah, that was pretty
A
crazy.
bunch of Georgia.
Jessica's saying you like their Tex-Mex. Is there Tex-Mex in Mississippi? Like, is it no different? Is it different than around here?
Yeah, I'm not really
Tex
sure.
Miss.
Maybe she does.
Yeah. You like it, Steve. Remember?
Tismus.
My wife will do that to me. By the way, I have that. Like my wife will tell me
Ah.
ponchos.
Yeah, it's like it's a Mexican place,
Oh, okay.
and
All right.
they're actually good for their cheese sauce, their dip
Oh,
and stuff. So
ooh.
they actually went national with it. It's
Fair.
really good. There's it's one of those hole in the grounds though.
That's
Hole
the
in
best
the
food
ground,
you should talk
about.
like we
Good.
talked about. and,
Yeah.
That's
Um,
the best food though. Like some of
yeah.
the best. There is a couple. I've been to places all over the country. That's one of the like Holbrook was saying. One of the first things I'll ask people when I get there, like I went to St. Louis, right? And the two things that they're really known for is this type of pizza they have. It has like a kind of a goat cheese on top, and then fried raviolis, which is like they sell at Wawa. Like at one point they did at least. And like I was talking to these young guys behind us, and I'm like, like, well, where? All right, if that's the well-known pizza, he's like, oh, you can get that anywhere. Like, it's all the pizza around here has that St. Louis pizza. And I'm like, oh, okay. So like, not one particular, it's just a style. They're like, yeah, it's like Detroit style. I'm like, oh, okay. So like, some old guy comes, the dude's got like beard down to his knees. It's like, listen. Oh, like, I didn't even think the guy scared the shit out of me because he like came up to me like, what? Listen to what? What did I do?
The
He's like-
crazier the manager, the better the food's going to be.
Yeah, like,
Trust
probably
me,
true.
dude.
He looked like an old prospector. Like that's what he looked like. Outside of clinking the pans and stuff around, like he's like, listen. He's like, if you want, you go down to Skibby's, I think it was called, or Skippies or Skibby's. He's like, you go down to Skibby's and you tell him old Frank sent you. I'm like, all right, and like I'm like, dude, we gotta go. Old Frank said we gotta go.
Gotta
Like,
do that
yeah,
for sure.
and like we looked it up. It was literally like you could walk there from the stadium because like at St. Louis at what field's it called?
It's Bushfield.
Bushfield, yeah,
Bush
Bush
Stadium.
Park, Bush Stadium. They have a hotel that if you stay in a certain levels, you can look down and look over. So it's literally right by the hotel we were staying in. So I'm like, we gotta check this out. And literally, a hole in the wall. The wall, and then people can't really see it, but the wall behind you, the black foam, that's how wide the thing was. And it was a bar, and they did have one tap hole broke, but I think the rest were out of coolers that make you feel at home.
Oh man. So no Uncle Spiggy's? I'm not interested.
Yeah, they had one tap.
Not Uncle Spiggy's, fucking Uncle Schnazzy's.
Uncle Schnazzy's. And then they had all they served bags of chips, cheese crackers, peanut butter crackers, and the pizza. And they had like one of those little like the ones the conveyor belt pizza things. You like put them and slowly goes through and it comes out the other side.
Yeah.
It was freaking phenomenal. And I tried that pizza at one other place later, like in the week. Did not taste the same.
Better than Altoona.
Wow. Tuna would be better than Altoona. You know what I mean? Like old tuna.
For sure.
Taylor's chiming in here. Doesn't play about his ponchos. Bring up like 5 jars from Mississippi. All right.
That's the cheese sauce you're bringing up from good old Mississippi?
Is it called like? I want to be a
Yeah, you should be. You can get them online.
Let me see if they sell like. I thought you said they sell in stores.
Well, they sell the stores, and you can order online too.
Buy like a couple, maybe like a pallet or so, Al, like on the company card.
Okay, yeah, they got it.
Yeah, they got the white queso, regular.
Which one's the best one?
The white queso.
The white queso, Al. Do they sell pallets?
They have a copycat recipe if you really want to know.
Do they have a desk of them?
Yeah. Can I get a whole slew?
Yeah.
How much is a slew? Here, store locator. Let's see.
What's the closest one?
Yeah, I'm gonna put.
Yeah, I think they started closing a lot of the stores.
Oh no, Al, we gotta say.
Oh no, they have it at Giant in Springfield.
Do they?
They have it at Giant, both Giants in Springfield, because they're a store locator. Clifton Heights Giant. So Giant carries it, obviously, because I keep saying Giant. So I could actually pass by the Giant on the way home.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get me some. And it's pancho.
Wow.
Is it ponchos? Panchos?
Tomorrow you will. They're closed at 10.
Oh, come on. Every time I want something, you know what? That Giant sucks because there's nobody in the parking lot, man. I'll tell you.
For once, my westward expansion is fucking useful because the one in Edgemont is open until midnight.
Yeah, really?
I mean, they used to be. This one used to be open
the crime in Edgemont is a lot less than the crime here in Alden.
What crime?
Yeah, exactly.
You mean me? I have a name, Al.
All right, we kept Steve away from his family enough. They're probably missing him so much. So, but thanks for everybody joining us. A lot of people did chime in tonight. We appreciate it. We appreciate everybody who was talking about the issue there. We will probably reach back out to Steve and see if we can get some more information of how this, hopefully comes to a conclusion in a good way. Anything else you need to say before?
Do you think the word killdozer is on the horizon?
Yeah.
Can I be put on the resolution?
Yeah.
Yeah, you said they don't read them.
Like, so question: do you guys get handed the resolution, or you guys have to like type? Like, how does this? It's like it's just a piece of paper.
Well, yeah. Well, it's all typed up, and it's a formal piece.
Like,
I mean,
can you go on in there like just mess with people? Like, I'm gonna add a resolution about Operation Killdozer or something. Like, just like to mess with like.
It's just a name.
Is this a thing?
I mean,
it's about the strip club that Al from Delco Live's trying to start. That's all it is.
It's my dad's maiden name.
all I can say, if I can end with something, is just I implore any residents of any town just to be involved in your town, because again, if you're not involved, then things are going to happen outside of your control,
and you'll be the first one to bitch about it.
That's how killdozers fucking get built, dude.
Yes. So
watch Tread on Netflix and tell me that local politics don't matter.
I think it was almost Killdozer Day too, right? It's
June 4th. We celebrate it every year.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
One day Delco Day will fall on June 4th.
I think we can make Killdozer t-shirts. I would love that.
Every day is a Killdozer if you believe in yourself and hate the government out.
Well, he did get screwed. So.
He did. I fucking defend that man.
Yes.
Me and him had the same birthday.
Not
Didn't they
necessarily
use it-
exactly what he did.
Didn't they use
but,
it when
you
it
know.
flooded down there at the Acme and stuff
What
in
now?
Upper Darby? Didn't they use like the killdozer like to clear out stuff?
No, they used their ramrod or whatever the fuck it was called.
I
It
thought it
has
was
a
the-
name, and
I
then
thought
and then they fucking got pressured into selling it like the
I
ARV
forget the name.
tram.
Yeah, I forget the name of that thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
they had it. and
Remember,
then-
it flooded down at the Bond Shopping Center.
yeah, and then a week later they got rid of it.
They sold us stuff. It's got water damage,
was
but
like
don't
doing-
tell these guys.
It was during the national like fucking ACAB riots and all that shit. Like people were pissy against police, and they're like, "Why are we militarizing them? We don't need that." And then we actually had a great usage for the fucking thing.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Sell it the next day." I'm
Upper
like,
Darby
"What
was
did you
going
say,
below sea
people?"
level, but we
Yes.
can't do something about it.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Other than that, Steve, thank you.
Thank you.
On behalf of Hollywood Ulbrich, I'm Big Al, and we are out of here.